Tabby!
It's good to be back in Victorian London. The thick fog is beginning to move in gently along each building and cobblestone street. It's getting on towards evening now, and most of the hansom cabs are full and on their way across town. The flickering yellow light of the gas-burning lampposts tries desperately to push back the darkness now as men, women, and children return to the comfort of their homes. My name is Ben Wright, and I have had the pleasure of playing the role of Sherlock Holmes in 1949, and in later years the role of Dr. John H. Watson. These roles were done on the radio in dramatic presentations that let you, the listener, use your imagination to create, from the mood music, sound effects, and our spoken words, the world that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle devised. When one mentions the name of... There we are. I'll just turn here into Baker Street. I'm sure you know where I'm heading. When you mention the name of Sherlock Holmes or Dr. Watson, most people immediately think of Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce as the great detective and his faithful companion. And indeed, when in 1939 Rathbone and Bruce appeared in the classic Hound of the Baskervilles film and did their first Holmes radio show together that same year, Rathbone and Bruce became forever linked as Holmes and Watson. And both men played Holmes and Watson from 1939 continuously until 1946, the same year, incidentally, when they finished their last Holmes film together. And when radio died because of the coming of television, a great medium of entertainment was lost. It was in that medium that Rathbone and Bruce etched the roles of Holmes and Watson in the public mind. 39 weeks a year for 8 years. Ironically, it is in the replaying of the films on television that has kept them alive as the great detective and his companion. The radio shows having long been thought to be lost. But recently, a large number of the radio shows were discovered. And we are happy to present here, for the first time since they were broadcast in 1945, 2 of those famous Sherlock Holmes dramas.
This episode from the life of Sherlock Holmes will be transmitted to our men and women overseas by shortwave and through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Petri Wine brings you Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce in the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The Petri family, the family that took time to bring you good wine, invites you to listen to Dr. Watson tell us about another exciting adventure he shared with his old friend, that master detective Sherlock Holmes.
It began on a summer evening in 1906. I'd been for a long walk in the park, I remember, and when I returned to Baker Street and entered our rooms, Holmes looked up at me with a twinkle and spoke.
You look positively glowing with health, Watson.
Well, I had a splendid walk, my dear fellow. You should have come with me. The park was looking particularly beautiful.
Well, chap, during your absence, I've decided to write another monograph.
Oh, what's the subject this time?
Occupational liability to murder. For instance, the mortality rate is naturally high among policemen and detectives. Physicians are murdered with fair regularity, but the murder of a dentist is rare. And who ever heard of a murdered veterinary surgeon?
That's quite true, but what's the occasion for this little homily?
I've been browsing over my newspaper clippings.
Yeah?
You recall ever hearing of a murdered tobacconist, Watson?
No, I can't say that I do.
Oh, why? And yet my clippings inform me that no less than 3 tobacconists have been murdered in the past 6 months, and all the murders have occurred in the same small shop at the East End of London. Now, why do you suppose 3 tobacconists would be murdered in the same shop? Come now, old fellow. Give me a logical solution to the problem, will you?
Well, let me see. You say that the shop's in the East End?
Yes.
Is it near the river?
As it happens, it's on the water's edge.
Then supposing the tobacconist's shop was the headquarters of a smuggling ring. Perhaps boxes of cigars were unloaded from the dock and brought to the shop. Cigars containing pearls or opium or something.
Watson, my dear fellow, you're doing splendidly. You must walk in the park more frequently. You're positively scintillating.
Oh, no, you're making fun of me.
I assure you I'm not.
You're expecting anyone home?
No, probably a visitor from Mrs. Hudson. Go on with your fascinating theory. Now, why are 3 tobacconists murdered?
Well, because they know too much. Perhaps they demand a share in the profits, so the head of the ring decides to kill them.
Plausible enough, Watson. I really must congratulate you. I can see that I'm very lucky in having a biographer with such a lively imagination.
Thanks very much.
Come in.
That's very nice for you. Imagination. Oh, hello, Lestrade.
Strad, I'm glad to see you.
I hope I'm not intruding.
Not at all, my dear fellow. Come along, sit down.
Thank you, Miss Holmes.
Anything remarkable on hand?
No, Miss Holmes. Nothing very particular.
Ah, then tell me all about it, Lestrade.
Can't hide anything from you, can I, sir? Yes, there is something on my mind, and no mistake.
And it concerns the 3 murdered tobacconists, I see. Splendid.
Now, how the blazes did you know that? Yes, Holmes, that's pure magic.
Not at all, my dear Watson. It's simple deduction. Observe the 5 cigars peering out of Lestrade's breast pocket. They are of a far superior quality to his usual brand. Obviously, the scene of his latest investigation has proffered certain, well, shall we say, professional perquisites. Am I right, Lestrade?
Of course you are. Careful one, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, no, I'll stick to my pipe.
Well, how about you, Doctor? Oh, thank you, Lestrade. By Jove. Coronas.
And now, Inspector, tell me about the murdered tobacconists.
Well, how much do you know about the case, sir?
Just what I've read in the papers.
Well, curiously enough, we were discussing the affair as you walked in, Lestrade. It's a strange business, gentlemen. I only got hold of the old story today when I had a long talk to young Jack Longworth. He's the owner of the shop.
When in relation to Gerald Longworth, the taller member of Parliament who battled so successfully against the slum clearance bill?
His son, Mr. Holmes.
Oh,
Nice young fellow, too. When his father died, he inherited this shop along with a lot of other property in the East End. Well, how big a shop is it, Lestrade? Oh, just a hole in the wall, Doctor, like all the other shops in that part of London. Young Mr. Longworth tells me he first rents it to a man by the name of George Grillet. He lives there with his daughter Lily and made it quite a nice go out of the shop. 6 months ago, when Jack Longworth was abroad, George Grillet has a stroke and nearly kicks the bucket. Kicks the what? He nearly dies, Doctor. Oh, kicks the bucket. I remember that.
And then what happened, Lestrade?
Well, while he's in the hospital, his daughter gives up the lease on the shop. A few days later, an Italian takes it over, and a couple of weeks later, he's found with his throat cut.
Did you investigate that first murder yourself?
No, Mr. Holmes. It seemed like any of a dozen killings we get in that part of London. A shopkeeper cut up, his till emptied, no clues. Well, who was the next tenant? A Scotchman. Bloke by the name of Mackintosh. A few weeks after he moved in, the same thing happened to him. That time, I did go down there, but I couldn't find out nothing.
Was robbery again the apparent motive?
Yes, sir, but the killing wasn't the same. He was strangled with a silk scarf.
Silk scarf, eh? And who was the third tenant? The man who was murdered yesterday?
A Hindu fella. A man by the name of Mukherjee. He takes it over a week last Friday, and yesterday we finds him knife through the back and his money gone. Of course, I was down there before you could say Crystal Palace. But once again, I didn't find out nothing. No knife, no fingerprints on the till, no footprints, just a very dead Hindu.
Was young Mr. Longworth a landlord in England when these murders occurred?
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it, Mr. Holmes. He docked at Tilbury yesterday morning. He didn't know nothing about what had been going on. Well, I imagine he'll have difficulty in renting the shop after 3 murders. Well, that's just it, Doctor. That's why he comes to me at the yard. George Grillet, his first tenant of the shop, moved back there today with his daughter Lily. And young Mr. Longworth's worried about them. Well, if you ask me, he's more worried about the daughter than he is about old man Grillet.
So the original tenants of the shop are back in residence again, eh? And what do you want me to do?
Well, I thought perhaps you'd be interested enough to come along with me and look at the shop, Mr. Holmes.
I should be very glad to, my dear fellow. Get your coat and hat, Watson.
Oh, that's your... Oh, dear, that wretched instrument.
I'll answer it. Hello? Mycroft, how are you? What? Yes. Yes, he's here now. Why, of course. I'll do everything I can, certainly. Let's have dinner together soon, shall we? Splendid idea. All right, goodbye.
Well, is that your brother, Holmes?
Yes. Lestrade, I do think you might have told me the whole truth.
Well, how do you mean, sir?
I thought your visit was prompted by a need for friendly assistance. I didn't realize that you came here virtually on a government order.
Well, it wasn't just quite like that, Mr. Holmes. What's the government got to do with the case, and how does your brother Mycroft fit into the picture?
Not sure yet. But of one thing we may be certain, there's obviously a great deal more in this case than Lestrade would have us believe.
Why do you say that, Holmes?
You must bear in mind, old fellow, that occasionally Mycroft is the British government.
Nice part of London to take a walk in on a foggy night, ain't it, gentlemen? All our policemen work down here in pairs, you know.
Yes, I don't blame them. It's a vile neighborhood.
There's the shop just ahead of us, with a sign hanging out. Hello, there he is again.
Oh.
See that bearded Hindu skulking off around the corner there?
Oh, yes.
He's been haunting the place ever since I came down here.
So a bearded Hindu haunts the place, eh?
Yes, and yesterday, Holmes, the Hindu proprietor of the shop was murdered.
Exactly.
Well, here we are. I'll go in first.
Depressing-looking place, huh?
I'll be out in a jiffy.
That's Lily, George Grillett's daughter. Helps him with the shop.
Sorry to keep you wait. Oh, it's you, Inspector Lestrade.
Yes, Miss Lily. I brought some gentlemen to see your father. This is Mr. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Pleased to meet you, I'm
I do,
sure.
Miss Grillet.
How do you do, young lady?
Is your dad home?
No, Inspector, he won't be in till after dinner. Went down to the docks, he did, to see about some cigar shipments. Mr. Longworth's here. If you want to see him, we were just having some tea in the back room.
Yes, I'd like these gentlemen to meet him.
Jack, come out in the shop, Jack.
What is it, Lily? Oh, Inspector Lestrade. And this must be Mr. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, I'm sure.
How do you do, sir?
How are you, Mr. Longworth?
I'm very glad the inspector was able to persuade you to come down here, Mr. Holmes. I'm dreadfully worried about this business, particularly since Lily's father insisted on coming back here. I'm afraid they're in great danger, but I can't make Mr. Grillet see it.
Young lady, I wonder if I might ask you a few questions.
Well, of course, Mr. Holmes.
Before your father had his stroke, did he receive any threats concerning his occupancy of the shop?
Well, if he did, he never told me about him. But it wouldn't surprise me. I often told him his biggest enemy is himself, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I think I do, Miss Grillet. When your father had his illness, who decided to give up the lease on the shop?
I did. No money was coming in, and, well, it looked like Dad might be an invalid for life. Of course, I couldn't run the shop by myself. Anyhow, I never did like this part of London. And it wasn't the right business for Father.
What was his reaction when you told him to have given up the lease?
Oh, he was awful angry with me. Said I'd no right to do it without asking him.
By the way, we saw that bearded Hindu again as we walked up just now.
He's been hanging around ever since we came back here, Inspector.
Well, has he actually come into the shop, Miss Grillet?
No, but he keeps walking by and looking in the window. I'm sure if we both went into the back room or left the shop for a little while, well, he'd come right in.
Then I suggest we give him the opportunity he's seeking. Miss Grillet, I wonder if you and Mr. Longworth would mind leaving the shop for a while.
Of course not, Mr. Holmes.
Make your departure rather ostentatious, shall we say, so that he can't help noticing it. Give us half an hour or so and then come back. Perhaps you wouldn't mind going with them, Lestrade.
But, Mr. Holmes, this is my case.
I know, but in a situation like this, Watson and I work much better alone. We may have to go a little outside the law, and your presence might embarrass us.
You'd never think I was a detective, too, would you?
Very
We'll
well,
be back in
Mr.
half an
Holmes.
hour.
Poor old Lestrade. He gets very touchy as the years roll by.
I blame him. I'm leaving him completely in the dark. Come on, Watson, behind the counter. No, my dear fellow, not under it, old chap. We lift the flap. So. Now I suggest we crouch down behind here. Come on, that's it. Have you got your revolver, Watson?
Yes, it's in my pocket.
Good. Meantime, make yourself as comfortable as these cramped quarters will permit. We may have quite a wait ahead of us.
Look, Holmes. There's the Hindu now, peering through the window.
Revolver handy.
Yes, sir. Here he comes.
All right, Watson.
Put your hands up. I got you covered with this revolver. Now, my man, what are you doing here?
Who are you?
Never mind who I am. Just answer my question.
I do not speak very good English.
Tum Hindustani baat bolne sakta?
Sikta hai.
Iko tum ida aya?
देखने को आस्ती तुम्हारा भाई हमको हुक्म दिया
Tumhara bhai. Tum jaan nahi sakta.
बहुत अच्छा सलाम
No, you don't, my man. Just you stay where you
It's
are.
all right, Watson. Let him go. He's on our side.
I wish you'd tell me what in thunder's going on, who that man was and why you let him go.
He's an investigator from the Foreign Office, old chap. given his instructions by my brother Mycroft.
Mycroft?
Yes, old fellow. When my brother fails to tell me all the facts concerning this case, I begin to think these triple murders have far greater ramifications than we ever dreamed of.
Dr. Watson's story will continue in just a second. Just about time enough for me to mention that any meal becomes a better meal when you serve it with Petri wine. And say, you'll find that Petri California Burgundy and Petri California Sauterne are just made to go with food. That Petri Burgundy is a rich red wine that's bosom pals with any meat or meat dish. Boy, what a flavor. And that Petri Sauterne is the delicate white wine that's just perfect with chicken or with fish. Yes, sir, with food, you just can't beat a good Petri wine. And now back to tonight's new Sherlock Holmes adventure. A puzzling case is occupying the attentions of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. 3 murders have taken place in a small tobacconist shop in the East End of London. As we rejoin our story, it's late at night, and Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, accompanied by Inspector Lestrade, are once again walking toward the ill-fated shop.
Well, I don't see that you've accomplished much, Mr. Holmes, except that you've just bought me a nice dinner.
Oh, we're making progress, Lestrade. If only by the elimination of obvious suspects. But there's a pattern to this case, and that should give us a clue.
Well, how do you mean, Holmes?
My dear fellow, consider the obvious motive of these murders, and particularly observe the results they've obtained.
Well, the motive was the same in all 3 killings, robbery.
Oh, no, Lestrade. Don't let the theft of a few pounds from the till blind you to the real motive.
Look. Here's Miss Grit now. Coming out of the shop.
Good evening, Miss Grillet.
Hello, Mr. Holmes.
Is your father home yet?
Yes, he is, Mr. Holmes. And I can't tell you how anxious I am for you to talk to him. I'm going to meet Mr. Longworth. He's taken me to the music hall. I should be home just after 10. I hope you'll be able to stay with Dad until then.
Well, don't you worry, Miss Grillet. We'll keep an eye on him.
Oh, thanks ever so much. Oh, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, Miss Grillet?
Please don't go into our rooms in a bed, will you? I've left things in a frightful mess.
I quite understand, Miss Grillet.
Well, ta-ta all. See you later.
Let's go into the shop.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's you, Inspector.
Here, these gentlemen, Mr. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson.
I did it, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Did you meet young Lily just now?
Yes, she told us she was going out to the music hall with Mr. Longworth.
Yes. I'm afraid we had quite a set to about that. A very strong-willed girl, Lily, very strong-willed.
Am I to assume that you disapprove of your daughter's association with Mr. Longworth?
Yes, of course I do. He's a toff. He's got lots of money. Lily's so blind she can't see that he's up to no good. I'm pretty sure he's afraid I might find out what's really at the back of these here murders.
And what is your theory, sir?
Well, I'll tell you this in confidence. Got nothing to back it up now, you understand. There's been talk of widening the docks around here. That'd make property values go up, you see, of course. Well, young Longworth's been trying to buy up all the other shops along the waterfront here, but they wouldn't sell. If you ask me, he's had these murders done just to frighten people away so that he could buy cheap. Now, I'm not saying that he did the murders himself, you understand, but he planned them. Why, in these parts, it's easy enough any night to get a throat cut for a couple of quid.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad you're here, gents. You see, I just got another warning.
Warning? What do you mean, sir, warning?
Found this note slipped under that door there not 3/4 of an hour ago.
Let me see, please.
What does it say, Holmes?
I shall call on you at 8:30 tonight. You know what's good for you. You'll be waiting for me alone. If you try any funny tricks, you'll go where I sent the rest of them.
Well, that's obviously from the killer.
Possibly. What's the time now?
Look, it's 8:20.
I was hoping you gentlemen would wait in our rooms back of the shop. You can hear what's going on in here, and if he tries any rough stuff, you can pop in and nab him.
Just what I was about to suggest myself, Mr. Grillet. Either way, will you?
Oh, yes. Just step behind the counter, gents. Now, through here. Here we are. Ain't exactly Buckingham Palace back here, but you can make yourselves comfortable, can't you, gents?
Oh, don't you worry about us, Grillet.
Oh, I better turn out the gas. If this bloke spots a light under the door in here, he might smell a rat. Now, there we are. Now, as soon as I see him coming in the shop, I'll knock twice on the door. like this. And that'll give you the signal that he's here. Is that right?
Right, you are, Grillet.
All right, now keep your ears open, gents. I may need your help.
Where are you, Holmes? I can't see a thing.
Over here, Watson.
You know, I've got another theory why Jack Longworth might be at the back of all this. You listening, Holmes?
Yes, I'm listening, old fellow. What is your theory?
Longworth knows that Grillet doesn't approve of his having anything to do with Lily. So when he goes abroad, he leaves instructions to murder the tobacconist. The assassins don't know about Grillet having a stroke, of course, so they keep murdering the wrong fellow.
Well, that makes very good sense, Doctor. What do you say, Mr. Holmes?
Holmes. Holmes. Where are you? Oh, bless my soul, he's disappeared.
No, I haven't. I was just exploring. Shh. The signal.
There goes the front door. Somebody's come in. We'd better go in.
Right, Watson, listen.
We've got to get in there at once.
Open the door. Well, it's locked. Never mind that. Get your shoulders into it. Come on, help me. On here. Go. Come on, one more.
Poor devil. He's been slashed with a knife. Grillet. Grillet!
What, the killer got away? I'm going
No,
after him.
Lestrade, conserve your energy. Your murderer lies there.
But that's Grillet.
Of course it is. Search his pockets, Watson. I think you'll find a blood-stained knife.
Let's have a look. Good Lord. Here's a razor in his pocket. It's covered with blood. You mean to say that he slashed himself?
Let's slip the handcuffs on him, Lestrade. While he's still play-acting, he may be more difficult to handle when he realizes the game's up.
Take your hands off of me. Come on, quick. Come on, yes. Come on.
Very neat, Lestrade.
Yeah. Well, now that I've knocked a wounded man out cold, perhaps you'll tell me what's going on, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, I'm completely in the dark, too.
Oh, it's very simple, really. Grillet has just staged a fake attack on himself. Fool us into believing that someone else is the murderer.
Yeah, but the threatening note he received.
Composed by himself for the occasion.
Yes, but we heard voices. We heard the shop door open.
We heard Grillet talking to himself. And as for the shop door, that's how he gave himself away.
Well, how do you mean, Mr. Holmes?
Whenever the shop door opens, there's a bell that jangles. You will notice, so.
Yeah, that's right, there is.
There was no bell jangle when we were in the back room. Grillet got us in there, locked the door on us unobtrusively, and staged his little drama.
Yes, but we heard the door creak open and close, Mr. Holmes.
The creak of this flap in the counter would sound exactly the same, my dear fellow. Now listen.
Yes, but why, Holmes? How did you spot that Grillet was a man?
It was obvious from the beginning that since nothing had changed about the shop except the ownership, that the attackers were directed against any tobacconist who was not Grillet himself. Of course, his daughter, Lily, obviously knew what was going on.
Well, I don't see how you figured that one out, Mr. Holmes.
Every remark that she made showed that although she loved her father, she knew his failings. In any case, she gave me the final clue.
Well, what clue was that?
In very pointedly asking me not to go into the back room of the shop. Of course, she meant the reverse of what she said. I followed her advice when you were explaining your theory to Lestrade.
Well, what did you find, Mr. Holmes?
Miss Grillet had obligingly left a secret door open, a door leading to a passageway that seemed to go down to the waterfront. We'll examine it more thoroughly in a minute.
Yes, but I still don't understand Grillet's motive, Holmes.
Neither do I, old chap. No, I suspect that from the interest of the Foreign Office in the case, this shop has been the headquarters of an espionage ring. I'm afraid the final answer to that question will have to be given by someone else.
Oh, who, Holmes?
By my elder brother, Mycroft. Humiliating, isn't it, Watson?
And what was the final answer to the question, Dr. Watson?
Well, Holmes was right as usual, Mr. Foreman. The shop had been the headquarters of a spy ring operated by Grillet. And many international criminals had been smuggled in England or foreign ships moored up the river.
And did Mr. Grillet hang for his crime?
No, he didn't, my boy. Before he came to trial, he had another stroke and he died.
Probably just as well for his daughter's sake.
Oh, his daughter. Lovely girl.
Did she marry Longworth?
Indeed, she did. As a matter of fact, I danced at her wedding. It was a very wonderful wedding reception. You would have been there yourself, Mr. Foreman. In fact, you'd have liked it very much. They served a pretty good wine.
Was it a Petri wine by any chance?
Oh, well, it was so good it easily might have been.
You mean because Petri wine is the kind of a wine you can't forget?
That's exactly what I do.
Well, that's because the Petri family really knows all there is to know about the fine art of turning luscious, sun-ripened grapes into fragrant, delicious wine. You see, the Petri family's been making wine ever since they started the Petri business way back in the 1800s. And they've been able to hand on down in the family, from father to son, every bit of their skill and experience. That's why Petri wine is so good today, because Petri took time to bring you good wine. And say, don't forget to take a moment yourself and send for your free recipe calendar. Remember, send to Petri Wine, San Francisco 26, California. This offer is intended to apply only in those states and other localities where its acceptance is permissible by law and regulation. And now, Doctor, do you feel like giving us a hint about next week's story?
Yes, I do. Next week, Mr. Foreman, I'm going to tell you a strange adventure that happened to Holmes and me in the West End of London. It concerns the death of a famous actor who was portraying the part of an equally famous man, Sherlock Holmes.
Thank you, Doctor. See you next week. And say, from the news we've had so far today, maybe by next week at this time we'll hear some really good news from Europe.
I certainly hope so, Mr. Foreman. But let us remember the war won't be over when Germany quits. We've still got to lick Japan. That's going to take a long time. So instead of celebrating when VE Day comes along, let's just strengthen our resolve to support the war more than ever here at home. Keep that war job. Don't leave it till you're released. Keep on buying more and more and more war bonds and keep them. Don't turn them in. Help all you can with all home front activities and observe all our wartime regulations such as price ceilings. That's the real way to celebrate a victory in Europe, by working harder to end the war in the Pacific.
Tonight's Sherlock Holmes adventure is written by Dennis Green and Anthony Boucher and is based on an incident in the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle story, The Adventure of the Six Napoleons. Mr. Rathbone appears with the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and Mr. Bruce with the courtesy of Universal Pictures, where they are now starring in the Sherlock Holmes series. The Petri Wine Company of San Francisco, California invites you to tune in again next week, same time, same station. Meanwhile, don't forget to take advantage of our offer of a free recipe calendar.
Oh, the Petri family took the time to bring you such good wine. So when you eat and when you cook, remember Petri wine.
To make good food taste better, remember...
Petri.
This is Bill Foreman saying goodnight for the Petri family. Sherlock Holmes comes to you from our Hollywood studios. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
The episode you have just heard, called The Unfortunate Tobacconist, is part of the new adventures of Sherlock Holmes, starring Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce. The Sherlock Holmes stories and the characters of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John H. Watson were created by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and are used with the kind permission of Dame Jean Conan Doyle. This is Ben Wright. I will join you again, if I may, with another new adventure of Sherlock Holmes.
You're coming out with me tonight?
I can't afford it, thanks.
I'll pay you back. First payday after Christmas.
I'm afraid I'm withdrawing your credit facilities. You've got a customer.
Shop! Sorry, Mr. Skinner. I was miles away.
You can't afford to let your attention wander when you work in a bank, Tom. If I was less than honest, I'd have got away with all your blotting paper and unit trust leaflets, wouldn't I? Now, firstly, can you cash me this modest check, please?
Of course, sir. Ones?
Yes, as many as possible. Just look at them down there. Oh, banking has lost all its grace and charm. Once it was a glass of sherry and a slice of Madeira cake in the manager's office, and now it's all those hefty gents in crash helmets and truncheons.
The security guards from Gregson's department store, Mr. Skinner. Paying in the daily takings.
Does it warrant so many of them?
Oh, if you knew the amount of money involved, sir. Well, Gregson's always do a fair old trade, but at Christmas time it's fantastic. Oh, there we are, Mr. Skinner. 15 ones.
And the free elastic band. Thank you, Tom. How much money, roughly, do they pay in each day, then?
Oh, I'm not allowed to tell you that, sir.
No, of course not. I should have known better than to ask a stern-faced, tight-lipped young bank executive. About £20,000?
Oh, you'd have to treble that, sir.
60,000 a day?
Makes you think, doesn't it?
It makes me dribble, Tom. It's over, what, £350,000 a week, almost as much as you spend on pop records.
Oh, my spending days are over until after Christmas, sir. I don't know where all the money goes.
Into Gregson's department store by the look of it, and then into your bank. No wonder you can afford to give away free elastic bands. Now, I wonder... Yeah, I say don't look now, but there's a furtive-looking cove trying to sneak in behind your counter.
Eh?
Up there.
Where does he think he's going? Excuse me, sir, you can't go through there.
It's all right. I'm the new branch manager.
Oh, Mr. Fussell?
That's right. And you'll be Tom Green?
Yes, sir. We didn't expect you until after Christmas, Mr. Fussell.
Things move faster than I planned. Now, where will I find the acting manager?
Mr. Perry, in his office, sir. Your office. First door on the left. I'll show you.
I can find it, thanks. You'd better get back to your customer.
Yes, sir.
Who was that, Tom?
It's the heir presumptive to the managership. I'd love to see Mr. Perry's face when he learned his reign of terror's being cut short.
Do you mind knocking before coming in here? What the hell are you?
Mr. Perry?
Yes?
I'm Fussell, the new manager.
Oh, well, I can spare you 5 minutes. Sit down.
Thank you. Sorry I didn't phone you first.
Pity you didn't, so I could have put you off. I have no time for casual visitors at the moment. You won't mind if I carry on signing these returns, will you?
This isn't a casual visit, Mr. Perry.
Oh?
I've advanced my plans. Anderson got back from convalescence last Friday, earlier than we expected.
Who's Anderson?
My replacement of my old branch. Anyway, with him back, there was nothing to keep me there any longer, so we moved into the new house yesterday, and here I am ready to take over this branch today.
Not a chance.
I beg your pardon?
If you had had any experience of actually running a bank, you would know that there was far too much work on hand at this time of the year for me to spare time to spoon-feed someone new and teach them the ropes.
Permit me to remind you, Mr. Perry, that whether you like it or not, I am manager of this branch.
And permit me to remind you that your appointment doesn't take effect until the 1st of January. Until then, I am acting manager in full charge and extremely busy. So, if you would excuse me...
Aren't you being a little childish?
I won't query your decisions when you're in charge. Please don't query mine now. Good day.
Head office said you were difficult.
Difficult? Is that what they think of me? Do you know how long I've been at this branch, Mr. Fussell?
Over 30 years, isn't it?
36 years. This branch has had 36 years of my life. I started as junior filing clerk and worked my way up, step by step, to assistant manager. And all through my own efforts. I've got no friends at head office.
I can believe that.
I've been assistant to 5 different managers. 5 times the job has fallen vacant, and 5 times they've appointed people with half my experience. The worst of them was this last chap. He didn't know how to run a branch, and he didn't want to know. He was so bad that even head office twigged him, and 6 months ago he was asked to resign. I really thought I'd get the job this time. For 6 months I've been working like a Trojan, showing them that I could do it. Yesterday, head office let me into their little secret. They'd already given it to you. It was all decided last June.
Yes, I'm afraid it was. The move was delayed for 6 months because Anderson was taken ill. But don't despair, Mr. Perry. I'm sure your chance will come.
Well, in case it doesn't, I'm determined to enjoy my brief spell as acting manager to the full, i.e. until the 31st of December.
Very well, Mr. Perry. Since you feel so strongly about it.
I'll see you January the 1st, 9 o'clock then. Goodbye. Yes?
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Perry.
That's all right. Mr. Fussell's just leaving.
Mr. Skinner of Skinner Developments would like to see the manager.
Someone else who wants to barge in without an appointment. All right, I'll see him. Might as well ruin the rest of the morning.
He said he wanted the proper manager, sir, Mr. Fussell.
Do you know him?
Skinner? I don't think so.
He comes from your part of the country. Moved down here 5 or 6 months ago. Runs a one-man business speculating in old properties. A bit shady, if you ask me. Show him in, Green.
Right, sir. This way, Mr. Skinner.
You'll want to see me, but you can hang on if you like.
Thank you.
Mr. Fussell. How kind of you to see me at such short notice.
How do you do, Mr. Skinner? Please sit down.
Thank you very much.
You know Mr. Ferry, of course.
No, of course, the acting manager. Must be such a relief for you to have a proper manager in charge again. Hmm?
I didn't know we lacked a proper manager. How can we help you, Mr. Skinner?
It's rather confidential.
Yes?
So if you wouldn't mind leaving us.
Leaving? Me? I see. Very well. Please treat my office as if it were your own, Mr. Fussell.
Staff are awfully touchy these days, aren't they?
Well, it is a very hectic time of year.
Yes, of course. Good Lord! We have met before, Mr. Fussell.
Have we? My old branch, perhaps?
No, years ago. We were both wearing the King's uniform at the time.
The war?
You were in the Commandos, weren't you?
That's right.
And I was in the RAF. East Anglia? Rookley Airfield?
Rookley?
Yes.
Yes, I remember it vaguely. We took off from there for France once, 1944, I think.
August 1944.
You must have a remarkable memory, Mr. Skinner.
You need it in my business. Now, why do I remember August 1944 so well? Of course, the murder.
What murder?
How fleeting is fame. Well, you must remember the famous Rookley murder. It was a sensation at the time. It knocked sex and dried eggs into second place as a topic of conversation in the camp.
Oh, yes, I think I remember reading something about it in the papers. Now, how can the bank help you, Mr. Skinner?
You read about it. But didn't the police question you at the time?
Question me? No, why should they?
They questioned everyone who was in the camp that day.
But I wasn't in the camp that day. We'd flown to France the week before.
Do you know, I could have sworn I saw you there on the day of the murder. You had the old green beret on.
You're mistaken.
Just shows how witnesses can be mistaken, doesn't it? I could have sworn that I saw you.
Get down to business?
Yes, of course. Things are a bit tough in the property world at the moment, Mr. Fussell. I find I need rather a large sum of money.
I see. Have you filled in one of our loan application forms?
No.
Well, that's the first step. Now, I wonder where Mr. Perry keeps them.
Isn't it funny the way association of ideas works? The minute I saw you, I immediately thought of murder.
Why?
Well, the victim, the chappie who was killed, you know, his father. Now, he's something big in this bank, isn't he?
Yes, Vernon Woodhead. He's on our board of directors.
That was the name, of course. Woodhead. Pilot, office, wait, don't tell me. Rupert Woodhead. What a way to finish up. Stabbed to death in a country lane. Is he an only son?
Yes.
I bet his father took it rather badly.
Ah, here it is.
At the inquest, they said he was blind drunk when he was stabbed. Couldn't have defended himself. What sort of man would do a thing like that?
If you could just fill in this form.
Oh, thank you. You know, they never caught the killer.
Well, they're not likely to after 30 years, are they?
Well, the police never close their files. It's rather like owing the bank money. They never leave you alone. Wouldn't it be rotten luck to think you've got away with it for 30 years and then suddenly... I say, what a very complicated form. There must be easier ways of getting money out of the bank.
Not honestly.
And where is the form for the other way?
Oh, I thought you would have finished by now.
Just going, Mr. Berry.
Perry.
Oh, yes. Well, I'll be back when I've filled in your form, Mr. Fussell. Good day.
Goodbye, Mr. Skinner.
Goodbye.
What did he want?
A bank loan.
I don't trust him. He won't get one while I'm in charge. What you do when you take over is your affair, of course. Well, I mustn't keep you.
Yes, January the 1st.
9 o'clock. Oh, my regards to your wife. Have a pleasant Christmas.
Why, thank you. You must come over and see us.
Come in and take some letters, would you, Shirley?
Right away, Mr. Perry.
Was there anything else?
No, nothing else, thank you. Mary, I'm home.
I'm in the living room.
Oh, you look busy.
Oh, Peter, you're home early. I wanted to be all ready for you.
I'll help you.
Oh, you're an angel. They're calling for the empty tea chest tomorrow. The removal men broke that awful teapot your aunt gave us. Isn't that wonderful?
Where shall I put these plates?
Anywhere. Oh, in that cupboard for now.
All right.
Darling. Your big day, and I forgot to ask you, how did you get on at the bank? Did you dispossess any old widow ladies? Foreclose any mortgages?
I didn't start today.
Why not?
Perry is determined to remain acting manager for his full term. I am not allowed in until January the 1st.
That's no good. You must go back tomorrow.
No.
Yes. Why, don't you see what he's doing? He's making you look a fool. You're the manager. It's your branch. You tell him what to do.
Why are you getting so worked up?
I'm sorry. It's just that I want you to make a success of this job.
Have we had any callers today?
The man from the electricity board.
Oh, good.
He said our wiring's rotten and should have been condemned years ago. But if we like, he can fix it for us in his spare time for only £50, and the electricity board would charge us hundreds and not make nearly such a good job of it. Peter, you're not listening.
Sorry. Something else happened today.
At the bank?
Yeah. A chap named Skinner called. Said he remembered me from the war. From Rockley. He kept going on about the murder.
Oh, Peter.
Said he saw me there that day.
But you told me no one saw you.
Perhaps I was wrong.
What else did he say?
Nothing much. Just talked in general terms, but he went on and on about Woodhead.
Well, if he was there at the time, it's natural he'd want to talk about it.
I suppose so.
Oh, your trouble is you haven't got enough to think about. Now, what about my little man from the electricity board? I'm sure he'd make a good job of the wiring. He's got a lovely bald head.
He's got a lovely bald head. What further persuasive argument is necessary? Oh, Mary, what would I do without you? Expecting anyone?
Oh, it could be the electrician's brother-in-law.
His brother-in-law?
He mends television sets. Cheaper than at the shops.
There's nothing wrong with our television.
Well, I had a little accident.
Accident? Oh, well. It's barely a year old.
It's not the man to mend the TV, Peter. It's someone for you.
Good evening, Mr. Fussell.
Skinner.
I come in peace, bearing gifts. Would you accept this little housewarming present?
A bottle of sherry. Oh, why, thank you.
And some beautiful flowers for a lovely lady.
Red roses. They're my favourites.
We share the same impeccable tastes.
I'm sorry, Mary. This
Oh,
is
it's all right. We introduced ourselves. Please sit down, Mr. Skinner.
Oh, thank you.
You'll help us drink this, I hope?
Ah, you're too kind. I hope you don't mind my barging in like this, but I was in the vicinity, and I say, isn't this a charming house? Bit off the beaten track, though.
We don't mind. How did you come? By car?
You should see it, Peter. A yellow sports model. Is it new, Mr. Skinner?
Oh, no, it's weeks old. Are you interested in cars, Mr. Fussell?
Oh, he's car mad. Always taking our engine to pieces.
That, of course, is the easy part. Can he put it together again?
Oh, yes. He's a mechanical genius.
I've never paid a garage repair bill in my life. Mary?
Thank you.
Skinner?
Thank you. Well, I wish I had your skill, Mr. Fussell. Now, what shall we drink to? I know. To old comrades alive and dead.
I find that rather morbid.
Well, then I'm instantly ready with another. May our sins never be found out. So drink up, Mr. Fussell. Why do they make sherry glasses so small?
Would you like some more?
Well, that's it. As it is a special occasion. Garden's going to take some looking after, isn't it? Are you a keen gardener?
Very keen.
Yes, I thought so. You've got the killer instinct.
What on earth do you mean by that?
All those slugs and carrot flies you gardeners have to slaughter. Now, I couldn't kill anything. You killed during the war, didn't you?
Yes.
I didn't. How old was Rupert Woodhead when he died?
What exactly have you come here for, Mr. Skinner?
There's no concealing anything from you, is there, Mrs. Fussell? As a matter of fact, there is a rather urgent little financial matter I'd like to discuss with your husband.
I prefer to keep business separate from my private life. Can we save it for the bank?
I'm afraid urgency does not allow that. I hate to show discourtesy to your charming wife, Mr. Fussell, but it would be less embarrassing if we could talk alone.
Embarrassing for whom?
For you. I'm ashamed to say that nothing embarrasses me.
I keep no secrets from my wife, Mr. Skinner.
Not even 30-year-old secrets?
No.
Does she know you murdered Rupert Woodhead?
Oh, yes, she does, Mr. Skinner.
But how wonderful. Isn't that really what marriage is all about? I'm sure that with your lovely wife standing by you, we'll soon get this annoying little matter sorted out to everyone's satisfaction. Isn't it peaceful and calm around here? Silence is such a wonderful thing. It's amazing how much people are willing to pay for silence.
So it's blackmail?
Of course. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Not the noblest of professions, perhaps, but better by far than mugging old ladies or stabbing drunken men. You know, this wine gets better the more you have of it.
Are you going to get to the point?
Of course. Now, your hobby is cars, and mine is photography. And what a rewarding hobby it's turned out to be. Now, if on that lovely August evening in 1944 you had let your attention wander from the task of stabbing poor Pilot Officer Woodhead to death, you might have noticed the glint of the setting sun on the telephoto lens of my little Leica camera. I took some lovely photographs.
Where were you?
Up on the hill. It was by pure chance that I saw you. The definition of that lens, it was, you can almost read the maker's name on the blade of the knife.
Where are these photographs?
In a very safe place.
I want them.
How fortuitous, because I want to sell them.
I'm not a rich man.
That depends on your standards, doesn't it? Now, let me see. In your deposit account, there's about 4,260, and you've got exactly £562.63 in your current account.
How on earth did you know that?
Do conjurers explain how their tricks work? Do bank managers explain how they calculate bank charges? Of course not. We all have our trade secrets.
How much?
Well, I don't want to belittle your achievement in saving all that money, but your few £1,000s is nowhere near enough. You know, the least I could accept for my excellent photographs is £60,000.
£60,000?
I'd throw in the album free of charge.
Oh, you must be mad. I haven't got that sort of money.
No, you haven't. But your bank has.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But they're vast reserves. It'd be a flea bite.
You're asking me to rob my own bank?
Of course not. That will get you into trouble, and that's the last thing I wish to do. All I'm asking you to do is to help me rob your bank.
And if I refuse?
I wrap the photographs and the negatives up in Christmassy paper and send them to the police with a covering note.
If you saw me kill him, why didn't you go to the police at the time?
In 1944, they'd have hanged you. I'm a humane man. I couldn't have had that on my conscience. Besides, what would there have been in it for me? Commandos weren't paid very much.
All right, Skinner. This has gone far enough. I want the film and the photographs.
No, not the gun, Floyd. Please put it away.
I'm not bluffing. You're not ruining my life, Skinner. I'd rather kill you.
You'd rather. But you wouldn't. Oh, be sensible. What would you do with my body?
You said yourself this is a remote house with a large garden. No one knows you're here. Now, I want those photographs.
I haven't got them on me.
Then we'll go and get them.
No.
Switch the radio on, Mary. Louder. That should drown the sound of the shot.
Oh, do put that stupid gun away. You know it isn't loaded.
You've got exactly 5 seconds to tell me where those photographs are. Don't look, Mary. 5 seconds, Skinner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Can we have that horrible music off now?
Turn it off, Mary.
Now, don't think badly of yourself, Mr. Fussell. You did it very well, but you'd never leave a loaded gun lying loose in a drawer like that. If it were a knife, and if I were a little drunker, I'd have been worried. But as it is, it's a Luger, isn't it?
A souvenir of the war.
Like my photographs. And, by the way, in case you feel tempted again, my solicitor has a letter to be opened in the sad event of my untimely death. Standard procedure in these cases.
Well, tell him why you killed that man, Peter.
You killed him, Mr. Fussell. That is good enough for me. My curiosity extends no further.
Tell him, Peter.
They flew us from Rockley Airfield to do this job in France. It involved being dropped by parachute behind enemy lines and taking and holding a vital bridge until the Allied advance troops arrived. We held the bridge, our troops arrived, and we were back in England within a week. Our only casualties were 16 men, killed by Pilot Officer Woodhead.
Go on.
There was a German Panzer division about half a mile away from the dropping zone, so accuracy was essential. The planes had to come in at minimum dropping height, and as soon as we were over the target, the pilot would flash the signal to jump. Of course, the Jerries winged up flat like mad, but the pilots couldn't maneuver. They had to grit their teeth and fly straight through it, keeping to the fixed dropping height. Pilot Officer Woodhead didn't like flak, so he flew under it, which was safe for him and his plane, but not safe for the poor devils who had to jump.
What happened?
If you haven't got enough height, you hit the ground before your parachute opens. All 16 men were smashed to pieces as Woodhead was winging back home to safety. 16 men. Most of them good friends of mine. One of them was my brother.
Oh, I wish you hadn't told me that. My job is hard enough without having to stifle feelings of sympathy.
I made a special journey back to Rockley to find him. He was drunk when I killed him, and they said he was drunk in the air.
You won't let the police have those photographs now, will you, Mr. Skinner?
I'm afraid I'd have to if it was necessary. There can be no sentiment in business.
Please, Mr. Skinner. Please.
Don't beg, Mary. If the price of his silence is that I shall commit another crime, then he can go to hell. The answer's no.
Oh, dear, I always feel that somehow I've failed when I have to expose a client. Perhaps I've not made it clear that your part in the actual robbery would be very, very small. You'd neither be suspected nor found out. Your career at the bank would not suffer. You'll be able to enjoy your new house, your garden, your cars. In fact, all of us would live happily ever after.
The answer is still no.
I can't believe that that is your last word.
It is.
Oh, no.
Keep out of this, Mary.
No, I'll not keep out of this. It concerns me as well as you. Well, you may think it's fine and noble to throw away everything we've worked for because of something that happened years and years ago. I don't.
I can't rob my own bank, Mary. It's a matter of principle.
Well, it's a pity you didn't think of principles when you knifed down that drunken man.
Mary.
I'm sorry, Peter. I shouldn't have said that. What's going to happen to me when you're nobly rotting in prison?
I doubt if they'll send me to prison.
Well, even if you get off, I don't think I'm going to like being known as the Rookley murderer's wife. They'd kick you out of the bank. You killed his son, so Bernard wouldn't let you stay.
I'd resign anyway.
And when you made this magnificent gesture, what will we live on?
I'd get another job.
Oh, what as a car mechanic? You'd never get another job like this one. We can just about afford the mortgage on the house now. How can we go on paying it?
We'd have to make sacrifices.
Sacrifices? No, Peter, no. I've had the hard times. If you want to throw everything away, then go ahead. I can't stop you. But you'd throw me away as well. Because I'd leave you, Peter. I'd leave you.
Oh, dear, the very last thing I wanted to do was to cause trouble between husband and wife. Now, I really feel I've abused your hospitality.
You'd really leave me?
Yes?
All right, Skinner. You win.
My dear Mr. Fussell, this is wonderful. You have gladdened my heart. Believe me, you've made the right decision.
Tom, where are you?
Over here, checking the stationery stocks, Mr. Perry.
That should have been done yesterday.
Well, I was a bit pushed, sir.
You'll be pushed right out of a job if you don't buck your ideas up. Gregsons are sending over for a new paying-in book. Let me know when they arrive.
Yes, sir. Anyone would think this job was worth having.
Talking to yourself?
Oh, hello, Shell. Here, you look a bit on the thin side. You could do with fattening up.
Are you offering to take me out to dinner?
No, I'm offering to save you some luncheon vouchers. Only half price. Please, Shell, I'm skinned. Oh, good morning. Oh, Mr. Fussell. I hadn't noticed you there, I'm sorry.
Good morning, Tom. Here's Mr. Perry in.
Yes, sir. Is he expecting you?
No, he is not expecting me. I'll go straight through.
What's he doing here?
You know what I think, Shell?
What?
I think Captain Queeg is about to be relieved of his command.
Come in. You.
Good morning, Mr. Perry.
Your calendar's wrong.
I'm afraid I've got bad news.
Oh?
I've decided to take over the branch as from today.
As manager?
Yes.
I can see you and I are going to get on like a house on fire. Yesterday we agreed January the 1st.
I've had second thoughts.
You always change your mind every 5 minutes because I don't. I said I'm staying as acting manager until January the 1st, and that's precisely what I intend to do. Good day.
It's all been agreed. I've been on to Mr. Mason at head office.
We'll see about that. Surely, get me Mr. Mason at head office. Yes, I'll hang on. It's urgent. Mr. Mason? Perry here. No, Perry. Newford branch. There seems to be some confusion. Oh? On what grounds? I see. I take this as a vote of no confidence in me, Mr. Mason. But I don't see what other way I can take it. I must now consider my next course of action.
I hope you're not thinking of resigning, Mr. Perry.
Resigning at my age? You only had to wait a few days, Mr. Fussell, and you would have spared me this humiliation. Just a few days.
I really am most sorry.
I'll move my things out of your office right away.
There's no rush.
I thought there was the indecent haste you're showing to get in here. Yes?
Mr. Skinner to see Mr. Fussell, sir.
Come in, Mr. Skinner.
What a glorious morning. Makes you feel good to be alive, eh, Mr. Barry?
Harry! No, it doesn't.
Is everything all right?
He took it badly.
Oh, don't worry about him. He'll have a whale of a time wallowing in self-pity.
Perhaps you can now tell me why it was necessary.
Of course. But we shall have to hurry. Now, have a look at this.
A new paying-in book.
Uh-huh.
Gregson's department store. Where did you get this?
I hope you're not suggesting that I stole it.
Did you?
Certainly not. I bought it. It's a forgery.
Forgery?
And a very good one. My printer says that compared with banknotes, it was a piece of cake. But then who'd expect anyone to forge a paying-in book? Now, Gregson's will be sending for a new paying-in book this morning.
A new one?
Oh, yes, they've lost the old one. Someone must have picked it up in the bank yesterday by mistake. I wonder who that could have been. Still, it will turn up. All you've got to do is to ensure that they are issued with this replacement.
Why?
You've probably noticed there's strings of unintelligible figures printed along the bottom of checks and paying-in books.
That's for computerized accounting. They're specially printed so that an electronic scanner can read them and automatically transfer the account details to the computer.
And what about the name of the firm?
Well, that's only printed for the customer's convenience. The machine ignores it.
Good. Because this paying-in book for Gregson's differs from the real thing in one respect only. It, it has my account number details printed along the bottom, not Gregson's.
I see.
I thought you would. It means, of course, that all the money that Gregson's pays in this afternoon will be credited to my account by your splendid computer. Something in the region of £60,000, if they've had a good day. I shall be in tomorrow to draw it out in cash.
Cash?
Of course. I'm going to make a quick getaway before the mistake's found out. Bank error in your favor, collect £60,000.
Do you really think the bank is going to pay out all that money in cash without suspicions being aroused?
But of course it is. My dear Mr. Fussell, I've been planning this for ages, ever since I knew that you were coming here. Now, take a look at my account record, and you'll see that on 6 occasions I have deposited sums ranging from £10,000 to £30,000, and I've withdrawn them in cash a couple of days later. The money wasn't mine, of course. I borrowed it at extortionate interest rates. But it's all in a good cause. I have established a pattern. Oh, dear, the work I have put in to make things easy for you.
Give me the photographs and I'll do it.
Oh. Now, would your bank hand back its security before the loan had been repaid? Let normal business ethics apply. When I have the money, you will have the photographs.
And how do I know you'll carry out your end of the bargain?
I give you my word as a gentleman. No? All right, then. When I have the money, I'll slip you the photographs before I leave the bank. And if I don't, you can raise the alarm. And if your bank grants me this loan, Mr. Fussell, I'll work my fingers to the bone to justify your faith in me.
Yes? What is it, Tom?
I was looking for Mr. Perry, sir.
Can I help?
The cashier from Gregson's is outside, sir. He's come for the new paying in.
Oh. It's all right, Tom. No need to find Mr. Perry. I have it here.
Were you looking for me, Tom?
Oh, it's all right, Mr. Perry. Gregson's are here for their paying in book.
Hold on, I'll get it for you.
Oh, I've got it already, sir. Mr. Fussell gave it to me.
We couldn't have done. I locked it in the cabinet. I haven't handed him over the key yet.
You probably thought you'd locked it, sir, but you hadn't.
If I think I've done a thing, then I've done it. Wait a minute. Let me take a look at that book.
Anything wrong, Mr. Perry?
Yes, there is. Have I told you about carbon paper?
Isn't there any in it, sir?
No, there isn't. They're always complaining about it, so put some in before you hand it over.
Yes, sir.
By the way, I didn't give you the key to the cabinet, Mr. Fussell.
Oh, thanks. They gave me a spare at head office, but I'll take yours just in case.
So Gregson's now have a fake paying in book.
Yes. The money they paid him today goes straight into Skinner's account. He's drawing it out tomorrow.
So this time tomorrow it'll be all over.
I suppose so.
When they find out what's happened, will they suspect you?
No. If I lie my head off, I'll come out unscathed. I'll say Skinner must have swapped the books in my office.
Well, that's all right then. Who's that?
That'll be Skinner. I'll let him in.
Good evening.
In the lounge.
Well, I'm back again, Mrs. Fussell, like a return check. Has he been to do your television search yet?
No.
Oh, they're all the same, these people, you know. Unreliable. I couldn't run my business like that. And, talking of business, Mr. Fussell, how much did Gregson's pay into my account today?
£69,523.
How much?
69,523. I understand it's a record day's takings.
Good Lord, you know I am not a religious man, but it's at times like this that I begin to realize what Christmas is all about. Nearly 70,000. And it'll go higher. You mark my words.
You can draw it out tomorrow, but bring the photographs.
No.
What?
There are 3 more shopping days to Christmas, and Gregson's are having a boom. I think I'll let my money accumulate. If I wait until Christmas Eve, I should collect about, it's £250,000.
You can't wait. It's too risky.
Nonsense. These last few days before Christmas are absolutely chaotic. Gregson's won't have a chance to check the statement.
This isn't what we agreed. You said your price was £60,000.
Oh, I know, but I said I was looking for at least £60,000. I didn't set a maximum, did I? Oh, come now, it's only another 3 days. You'll be surprised how quickly time passes when you're enjoying yourself. So I'll be in on Christmas Eve, bright and early, with a smile, a suitcase, and a cheque drawn for cash.
And the photographs.
I'll tie a knot in my handkerchief. Well, now, you must excuse me. There's so much to do. Fake passport to pick up, plane ticket to collect, eggs to hard-boil for the sandwiches. No. Do sit down, Mrs. Fussell. I'll show myself out.
Change your calendar, boy. It's the 24th today.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Perry.
How often do you want telling? And I'm still waiting for that list of overdrafts for head office.
Well, I thought I'd do that after Christmas, sir.
Then you can think again. It's going off tonight. Even if you have to work overtime.
Exit Ebenezer Scrooge. Fine Christmas Eve this is going to be. Hey, you wouldn't like to stay behind tonight and help me, would you, Shell?
No, I wouldn't. You've had had your Christmas present?
Yes, it's a lovely tie. I'll get you something first payday after Christmas.
Oh, yes, like you did last year. I'm still waiting. Well, how have you got all behind with your work, then?
I've been down in the vaults getting that money ready for Mr. Skinner.
What money?
£217,000 in hard cash. He's picking it up today. All that money. You're not the only temptation in this place, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Tom, Mr. Skinner's just phoned. Is his cash ready?
All ready, sir.
Good. He'll be here to pick it up as soon as we open. You can take him to my office. I'll be out for a few minutes.
Oh, right on, Mr. Fussell.
Mr. Perry, I'm popping out for a while.
We'll try and manage. Shirley, it's 9:30. Open the doors.
Yes, Mr. Perry.
Let the ravenous hordes in.
That'll do. What was that money you were talking about?
£217,000 for Skinner investment, sir. He's picking it up today.
He hasn't got that sort of money.
Oh, he has, sir. I've checked.
I know you're checking. Show me the account sheets.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 3 large deposits. He never came by this honestly.
Perhaps he robbed a bank, sir.
Don't be funny. Oh, there he is.
Good morning, Mr. Cherry. Merry Christmas.
The name is Perry, Mr. Skinner.
Mr. Fussell said we can use his office, Mr. Skinner. He's popped out for a while.
Oh, lovely. Lead the way. Do you think these 2 suitcases will be enough?
Oh, I should say.
Excuse me.
Yes?
I'd like to see the manager, please.
He's had to go out for a few minutes. Can I help you?
Well, my name's Robson. I'm chief accountant over at Gregson's department store.
I thought I recognized you, Mr. Robson. I'm the acting assistant manager.
Yes. Now, look here, Perry. Your damn computer's up to its tricks again. We've just received our statement. We're nearly £220,000 light.
There it is, Mr. Skinner. £217,000. You give me the cases and I'll stack it in for you.
I'll give you a hand, shall I, Tom? I'm in rather a hurry.
Get on to our head office, Mr. Robson.
Right.
It looks as if our computer's completely missed your last 3 payments. Shirley, head office, please.
We never had this trouble in the old days.
In the old days, Mr. Robson, a customer was a customer, not just a number in the computer. Oh, hello, Central Accounts. Perry here. No, Perry. Newford branch. Look, the computer has messed up one of our accounts. No, we can't wait until after Christmas. It's not just a few pence, it's nearly £220,000. This is more important than the office party. Get Mr. Fox to the phone at once.
Will it all go in, Tom?
Oh, I think so, sir. If I... There we are. That's better.
Look, if you could hurry it along.
I'm sorry, Mr. Fox. It may be Christmas Eve up in head office, but it's an ordinary working day down here. The account is Gregson's department store. The computer number? Well, how should I know? Oh, just a minute. Can I borrow your paying info, Mr. Robson? The computer number is 1987543/2/110. No, I haven't made a mistake. I'm reading it straight from the book.
There, sir.
Thank you, Tom. Oh, by the way, as it's Christmas.
Oh, I couldn't, sir.
Go on. I won't tell anyone.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Skinner.
Oh, there you are, Mr. Fussell. I was afraid I'd have to leave without saying goodbye.
No fear of that. Run along and open up the boot of Mr. Skinner's car, would you, Tom? The yellow sports model in the side road.
Yes, it is unlocked. Would you like to take this case, Tom? I'll manage the other.
Right, sir.
Well, now, there is my part of the bargain. All the evidence I've got is in that package. There is nothing else, I promise you.
Thank you.
How do you know my car was in the side road?
I noticed it when I was out.
Oh, I see. Look, in case you've got any ideas of giving the alarm before I'm well away, remember I can still tell the police about that package. Not that any such unworthy thought would have entered your head, of course. Well, goodbye, Mr. Fussell. Thanks for everything. I don't know how I would have managed it without your help.
Tell me one thing before you go.
What?
Who gave you details of my private account? It must have been someone in the bank.
You wouldn't thank me for telling you. I promise you. Well, goodbye, and a Merry Christmas.
Forgive me for not shaking hands. Mine are not very clean, I'm afraid.
Stop him, Tom! After him! Yes, sir.
Mr. Mr. Perry, what's going on?
That money wasn't his, it was Gregson's. He fiddled that paying-in book somehow.
Phone the police.
That was the first thing I did. Give me some credit. Any luck, Tom?
No, sir. He's got roaring off in his sports car.
You'd better let head office know, Mr. Perry, and I want to see the police as soon as they arrive. I was getting rid of these photographs. Now, what's this? Blank pieces of card. And a letter. Dear Mr. Fussell, how can you forgive me? It was all a bluff. There are no photographs. I was never at Rookley in my life. With apologies for any inconvenience. Never at Rookley. And how on earth did you know? Mary was the only one I ever told. Shirley, get my wife on the phone, would you?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Come in.
This is Detective Sergeant Betty.
Come in, Sergeant. Sit down. This is a wretched business.
Could be worse. I've got the money.
What?
I just came over the radio, sir. His car went out of control. He had a smash-up at the bottom of Birch's Hill.
Oh, no. What a terrible accident.
Well, we don't think it was an accident, sir. There's more than a suspicion of foul play. One of our chaps seems to think the car's been sabotaged.
You mean someone deliberately interfered with the brakes?
That's funny you'd mention the brakes, sir.
Oh, I assumed.
Oh, yes, well, it was the brakes, by all accounts. I'm on the way to look at the car now.
Who'd do a thing like that?
Oh, he wasn't short of enemies, sir. With a file that thick on him back at the station.
I suppose he's dead.
Very much so, sir. They were both killed outright.
Both?
There was a woman with him, sir. She hasn't been identified yet.
A woman?
Oh, he was a great one for the lady, sir. Could twist him round his little finger.
Excuse me. Yes?
There's no reply from your wife, sir. Shall I try later?
No. No, thank you, Shirley. There's no point. She won't be there anymore.
Hi. Well, sir, I must be off. Just thought I'd pop in with the good news to cheer up your Christmas.
Hold on, Sergeant. I think I'd better come with you. I may be able to help with the identification.
In Balance brought forward by R.D. Wingfield, Peter Fussell was played by Peter Williams and Skinner by Aubrey Woods. Percy Perry was played by Rolf Lefebvre, Mary Fussell by Gudrun Tom Green by David Timson, Shirley by Karen Archer, Robson by Fraser Kerr, and Betley by Manning Wilson, and production was by Harry Caitlin.
For the first time, Scotland Yard opens its secret files to bring you the authentic, true stories of some of its most celebrated cases. These are accurate records drawn from these files by special permission of Sir Harold Scott, Commissioner of Scotland Yard. They're true in every respect, except for the names of the participants, which, for obvious reasons, have been changed. The research has been done by Mr. Percy Hoskins, chief crime reporter for the London Daily Express, and the stories for radio are written and directed by Willis Cooper.
New Scotland Yard, the London headquarters of the Metropolitan Police, is situate near the embankment on Whitehall, hard by 10 Downing Street and almost in the shadow of Big Ben. Here also is the headquarters of the CID, the Criminal Investigation Department, the body of men whose exploits for more than 100 years have made the name Scotland Yard synonymous with the brilliant detection of crime and unrelenting pursuit of the criminal, and the presentation of the painstakingly acquired evidence that assures his eventual punishment. On the lower ground floor of New Scotland Yard is the famous Black Museum, whose present custodian is Chief Superintendent James Davidson, a Scotland Yard veteran. Behind this door...
Good afternoon. This Black Museum of ours is rather unique. Everything in it was at one time connected with the successful solution of a crime, or was closely involved in the crime itself. We possess an imposing collection of lethal weapons here, each carefully docketed to indicate its origin. Here are half-empty bottles of almost every poison known to man, together with a statement of particulars concerning its use. Here are the blood-stained garments on which the solution of a crime of violence depended. Among the Black Museum's relics are disguises used by famous criminals, death masks of notorious men and women whose ends Scotland Yard encompassed, and a great many other more gruesome mementos of man's inhumanity to man. Among the exhibits are others seemingly incongruous objects that in their time served well in the undoing of desperate criminals. Such an exhibit is this one, the fragments of a set of teacups. This collection of shards was the first step in the solution of a frightful crime which occurred during the Blitz of July 1940.
Yes, sir?
Will you please bring me file number 302 MR 651, Constable?
302 MR 651, sir? Yes, sir. One, sir.
In July 1940, the Battle of Britain was at its height. The Luftwaffe hits us at all hours, and from advanced defense fields of the RAF, the weary Spitfires rose day and night to do battle. Thousands of British people died in Britain as a result of enemy action. But in the midst of the very present war, murder went on as usual. Chief Superintendent Peter Carruth received a telephone call at Scotland Yard on the morning of the 3rd of July, a Wednesday.
File 302 MR 651, sir.
Thank you. The call was from Chief Constable at Matfield, a Kentish village near Tunbridge. The Chief Constable reported the finding of the bodies of 3 women shot to death and requested the assistance of the CID. The services of Scotland Yard are available to the provincial police at all times if requested, the Home Office assuming all expenses if the request is made within 24 hours of the discovery of the crime, at their own expense if we're called in after that. Chief Superintendent Carruth was gratified that the request came at the very beginning of the case, and he drove to Matfield at once with a medical examiner from the Home Office and Detective Sergeant Small, also Scotland Yard. They were met at the scene of the crime by Matfield Chief Constable Thomas Bennett.
It's good of you to come so quickly, all of you. It's all quite beyond us here, sir. What with the Blitz and all.
I'm sure. I had a bad time.
Having it, sir.
Yes, I've no doubt.
Those ours, Mr. Bennett. Spitfires. Jerry must be up again. Well, here's what happened. In the house, there's Miss Evans, the servant.
Is she dead?
2 holes in her head. Place all ransacked. All tore up.
Where are the others?
Mrs. Ames and her daughter Jessica's lying down there in the orchard. Also shot.
Yes, I see.
Where do we want to start, sir?
A house, I think, first.
Come in then, sir. Gentlemen.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
They've lived here in Matfield a long time. Have they, Bennett?
Miss Evans, the servant, has always lived here. Mrs. Ames and her daughter moved here a year ago.
Mrs. Ames a widow?
No. Estranged from her husband, though they're quite friendly. He lives at Piddington.
Oh, yes, I know. I've been there.
Owns a farm.
Does he know about this?
My station sergeant telephoned him this morning, sir. He was in London, but he'll be home this evening. Shall I go first, sir? She's lying right by the door, and you might trip over her.
By all means.
You might try this.
These is the gentleman from Scotland Yard, Constable.
Yes, sir.
This is her. Miss Margaret Evans, sir. Age 61. Servant. Living in.
Ah. See what you can find out, Bernard.
Right, you are.
Small, get started looking for fingerprints.
Yes, sir.
Place has really been ransacked, hasn't it?
Uh-huh.
What's missing?
Haven't checked yet, sir. Haven't touched anything.
Good.
Well, not much chance of finding out if anything is gone, though. Everybody that lived here is dead.
I'd like to see the others.
Right, sir. If you'll come with me.
What's that over there? Tea things?
Yes, sir. Looks as if she dropped the tray when she saw the murderer.
Have a look at them, too, Small.
All right, sir.
Down this part, sir. The orchard, that's where they are.
Mrs. Ames?
And her daughter, Jessica.
They have many visitors?
Very few, sir. And the place is back from the road, isn't a bit by the roses. Or to tell they do have. Here she is.
This is the daughter, I suppose.
Right, sir. Her mother's over there, off the path.
Daughter was running away toward the house. Mother was facing the other way. Shot in the back, too.
Aye.
Found anything here in the grass? Cartridge cases, anything?
Well, no, sir. We did find this glove, though, sir. Sorry, I had it in my pocket. Almost forgot it.
Oh, woman's glove. Size 6, I'd say. Hogskin. Shops sell thousands a week. Left hand. Whose is it?
Isn't Mrs. Ames, sir. Too small. Or Miss Jessica's either. Too large, I'd say, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
Maybe the murderer, sir.
We'll see. All you found?
All so far, sir.
Where was the glove?
Oh, over there, sir. I marked the spot with those 2 sticks.
Alongside the mother's body?
Yes, sir.
Well, as soon as Bernard's examined the bodies, I think you'd better have all this grass scythed down and see if you can find anything else. Cartridge case or anything.
Right, sir.
Shall we walk back to the house?
Yes, sir. Good hunting, lad.
Beg your pardon?
Talking to the fighter chap up there. Hope he shoots some Jerry's bloody ears off.
He probably will.
Got a son in the RAF. Flight sergeant in the Coastal Command.
Good man.
19 years old. When I was 19, I was a farm man for good old Uncle Tom Cobley. Wonder if they've found anything yet in there, sir.
We'll see. Here's Bernard. Anything yet?
Well, I want to see the other bodies first. Discovered a little so far. Where are the,
Down the path back there, sir. We've touched nothing.
Except this glove.
Oh, is this one of theirs?
Wrong size.
All right. You can remove the bodies as soon as I finish, Chief Constable.
Yes, sir. I'll have the van here at once. See to it, please.
Yes, sir. What are you doing, Small?
I'm trying to fit these cups together, sir.
Well, what about fingerprints? I wanted you...
I found a good many, sir. They all check with hers.
Oh, how did you know they were hers?
Oh, I took hers. I wish live people's were as easy to take.
No others?
Well, I'm not sure yet, sir. As soon as I get the others down there, I'll make a very thorough check. These cups and saucers.
She dropped them when she saw the murderer, probably.
Quite. But why should there be 4 cups, sir?
4?
One for the mother, one for the daughter, one for the maid, for her.
Miss Evans was more a companion than a servant, sir. Here in Matfield, we...
Yes. And one for the murderer.
Why, then, they must have known the murderer.
People don't usually offer a cup of tea to a perfect stranger.
You could make up a list of their friends, Chief Constable,
They had
and then...
very few friends, sir. Kind of standoffish like they was, and the parson, the grocer, housemistress, not any real close friends, so to speak.
Make up a list and check where they all were yesterday.
Yes, sir.
What about this estranged husband of Mrs. Ames? Would he have a motive?
Oh, I don't think so, sir. He used to come visit her, I know, but...
Oh, he did, eh? And he's in London now, you said?
I went down yesterday morning, they said, sir.
Where does he live, do you say?
Piddington, sir, near Oxford.
You take over, Sergeant Small, you and Mr. Bernard. I'll call you from Piddington.
Piddington, sir? Do you think...
I think I'd like to know whether our friendly ex-husband was really in London yesterday or elsewhere.
At Piddington that afternoon, 70 miles away from Matfield, Jem Davies, the man of all work, explained to Chief Superintendent Carruth that John Ames had not yet returned from London. Miss Viola Masterson, the manager of the Ames farm, however, was at home, recovering from an accident. Carruth spoke to her in her sitting room. Her left arm was in bandages, and she was obviously in slight pain. Carruth sympathized with her.
I'm so sorry to disturb you, Miss Masterson.
It's quite all right. I'll be up and about in a day or so. It pains a little, though, now.
I suppose you've heard about the former Mrs. Ames and her daughter?
I'm so dreadfully sorry. I knew them slightly, you know.
Oh, did you?
I'd have gone over to Matfield if I hadn't been so stupid as to fall off my bicycle and injure my arm. I'm afraid I'm not a very good cyclist. Oh, do you have any clues as to the...
Murderer? And very few at the moment. Very few, I'm afraid.
Oh, what a pity.
Mr. Ames went to London yesterday.
Yes, he was probably in London while his former wife and daughter were murdered. He often stops in to see them on his way. If he'd stopped there yesterday, he might have prevented it.
Yes, yes. I suppose he can account for his movements yesterday.
I'm quite sure he can, Superintendent. I expect him at any moment.
You were here at the farm all day.
I rode about the farm all day on my bicycle until I had the accident.
Ah.
I'm sure Jemmy Davis can confirm that. And the bicycle is still where I left it, where I fell off, unless Jemmy's brought it back.
I see. By the way, have you ever seen this glove before?
Let me see it. No, I'm afraid not. Did it belong to...
We're not quite sure.
Well, it's not mine. Much too big for me, I'm sure, Superintendent.
You've never seen it before?
Never.
Thank you, Miss Masterson.
Is that all you wanted? Aren't you going to wait for Mr. Ames?
Oh, I don't like to disturb you, Miss Masterson. I'll wait out there with Jemmy. It is Jemmy, isn't it?
By all means, talk to Jemmy. I'm sure he'll confirm everything I've said.
Good day, Miss Masterson.
You know where to find Jemmy?
He was sitting alongside the stable door cleaning a shotgun when I last saw him.
Jemmy Davis was a simple-minded man. He didn't realize that he was talking much too freely to the friendly Scotland Yard man.
Well, it'd be a terrible thing, I expect, but I don't shed no tears for him. I didn't like her nor her daughter neither.
Hated them?
It been none of my business, sir. But now, Mr. Ames, he be a real fine man. And she treated him awful bad.
How?
Dug in the manger. Kicks him out, she does. And then when he finally meets a woman he loves, and that woman loving him, she won't give him no divorce.
You seem to know a lot about Mr. Ames' affairs, Jemmy.
Him and me, we be just like that. I'd do anything for that man. Her, too, for that matter.
Who?
Miss Masterson. There. Well, that's pretty clean, ain't it?
Let's see. Clean as I'd ever want a gun to be.
Had it for years. Old-fashioned, like me. But she be a good shotgun. He uses it all the time for rabbits.
Mr. Ames?
Well, buys his own shells, too. Miss Masterson, she's scared of it. Tried to teach her how to shoot it. But she was scared. You couldn't kill a person with this here gun, I says to her. Not unless you got up real close. Funny thing, though. She shot a rabbit with it yesterday. You know, it made her so sick at her stomach when she shot the poor little feller. Never again, she says to me.
Did you see the rabbit, Jemmy?
Well, what were left of it, she were too close. Well, not worth bringing back to cook. You know, I think that's why she fell off her bicycle thinking about it.
Where did she fall?
Well, it was in the meadow yonder. The wheel slipped on the grass.
Jemmy, did you ever see this glove before?
Huh? No, sir. Oh, can't say as how I have.
Sure?
No, sir. Whose is it?
I found it.
Well, finders keepers.
That's what they say. So you don't think Mr. Ames and Miss Masterson will be upset by Mrs. Ames' death?
Lord bless you, no, sir. Now they can get married. Well, that dog-in-the-manger wife of his. Oh, he must have been the last one to see her alive.
Oh? How's that?
When he stopped to see her on the way to London yesterday. Why, I thought you was going to wait for him to come back, sir.
Chief Superintendent Carew hurried to the local police station, where he put through a trunk telephone call to Matfield. Detective Sergeant Small, the Scotland Yard man, answered the telephone at the murder house.
Small here.
Small, I want you to check at once on something.
Yes, sir.
I want you to make the most diligent inquiries. Get that chief constable there to inquire of every person in Matfield, if necessary, at once, to discover if this man Ames was seen in Matfield yesterday. You got that?
He was seen, sir.
He was?
The postman, sir. We've been making inquiries all over the village of Mrs. Ames' known friends, and we've come across several curious things, sir.
Well?
Well, the postman observed Mr. Ames walking toward this house yesterday afternoon.
He's sure?
He positively identified him, sir. Known him for years. Spoke to him, called him by name, and Ames replied.
What else?
He was carrying a shotgun, sir.
Oh. I discovered here that he intended to visit them. But the gun...
Well, looks as if he's our man, doesn't it?
What else did you discover?
Well, the bicycle belonging to Mrs. Ames is missing.
Oh?
And the porter at the railway station reports a strange woman carrying a parcel arrived in town yesterday, but so far we have been unable to trace her. Now, the local police have picked up a deserter from an army camp near here. He's being questioned now. Then a lorry driver for the gas company at Oxford reports picking up a woman on the highway near here yesterday afternoon. She was wearing one glove.
Oh?
Now, he thinks her bare hand was scratched and bleeding.
Yes?
She explained she'd fallen off her bicycle and was trying to catch a train. He took her to the railway station. And then... Well, what did you say, sir?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I was speaking to Dr. Bernard, sir. I'll put him on. He wants to speak to you. Thank you. You there, Caruth?
Yes, Bernard.
I've discovered why you didn't find any spent cartridges, Superintendent.
Yes?
The women were killed with a shotgun, probably a 410 shotgun.
Yes, I know.
The murderer had to pick the discharged shells out of the breech of the gun by hand.
Yes, but...
Probably carried them away and disposed of them elsewhere.
Did you recover any of the shot from the bodies?
Yes, quite small pellets. Bird shot.
Mark it in evidence and hold it for me. I think those little lead pellets are going to hang someone, Bernard.
Back at the Piddington farm, Chief Inspector Caruth found that Ames had returned in his absence. Jemmy, the garrulous man of all work, was just leaving. He was going to fetch Miss Masterson's abandoned bicycle, he
I
said.
be going out to fetch Miss Masterson's bicycle, sir.
Look here, Jemmy. Would you like a half-crown?
What for?
That rabbit Miss Masterson shot. Is it near where she left the bicycle?
Oh, furlong or two, sir.
Fetch it back for me.
What for, sir? It been fit to eat. She were too close.
Oh. I've a fancy to see how that gun of yours works, Jim.
Oh, that old gun of mine? She be a very good gun, sir.
Show me. Here.
Well...
Good man. Now, is Mr. Ames in the house?
Aye, sir. Now, I'll fetch the rabbit and show you. But the poor thing will be all full of bird shot, sir.
That'll be all right, Jemmy. I'm very interested in bird shot.
Yes?
I'm Chief Superintendent Caruth of Scotland Yard. You're John Ames, hmm?
Yes. Now, you're the gentleman who was here this afternoon.
Yes. May I come in?
Do. You've come about the murder of my wife and daughter.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Caruth, you said?
Yes.
I cannot pretend any great grief, although I am shocked at the tragic.
May I sit down? I spoke to Miss Masterson, your manager, this afternoon.
She said you were here.
Perhaps if Miss Masterson is strong enough...
Here I am.
Oh, sit down, my dear. Please, sit down.
Don't hurt my hand, John. I'm all right. Well, sir?
Am I correct in assuming that with the death of Mr. Ames' strange wife, you and he...
We can be married, yes.
Mr. Ames?
That's true. My wife has consistently refused to give me a divorce. Although we were on fairly good terms.
She and I weren't. I'm glad she's dead.
Violet,
and
yes.
that horrid daughter of hers, too. Now we're rid of them once and for all.
Violet.
Do you share Miss Masterson's views, Mr. Ames?
I'm afraid.
Perhaps he's not as ferocious as I am, but he shares my views all right. Don't you, John?
Yes.
And what were you doing with a shotgun on the way to her home yesterday, Mr. Ames?
John, you didn't. You didn't.
Mr. Ames.
You didn't tell me. Oh, John. John, now you've spoiled everything.
Your wife and your daughter were murdered with a shotgun, Mr. Ames.
I didn't do it.
He didn't, I say.
What gauge is your shotgun, Mr. Ames?
This is absurd, Mr.
Yes, of course it's
Why do you think it's absurd?
My dear sir, my gun, which incidentally is an American-made Remington over and under 12 gauge, has been broken for 4 weeks.
You see?
Broken?
The sear spring is broken. It's quite impossible to fire the gun. You can examine the gun at your leisure at Henry McGovern's The Gunsmiths on High Holborn in London, where I took it yesterday.
We'll check that. Why did you visit your wife yesterday, carrying your broken gun?
I dropped off in Matfield on my way to London to have the gun repaired. I begged her again to give me a divorce.
She refused?
She refused again.
For the last time. And we're going to be married now at last. Don't expect us to weep for her. Whoever killed her should be given a medal.
Viola.
Oh, stop it. You're just as glad as I am. Aren't you?
Excuse me. The telephone. Yes? Yes, he's here. One moment. It's for you, Mr. Carew.
Thank you. Chief Superintendent Caruth here.
Small here, sir. We found Mrs. Ames' missing bicycle.
Oh.
Yes, sir. We discovered it in a ditch close to the place where the lorry driver picked up the woman with one glove.
Oh, good.
And there are numerous fingerprints on the handlebar, sir, but of the right hand only.
Most interesting.
And the strange woman whom the railway reporter observed was carrying a parcel, you remember?
Yes, of course.
Well, it was a long parcel about the length of a gun, he says, wrapped in brown paper.
I see. Have you taken the things you spoke about?
Things, sir?
Yes.
Oh, the fingerprints on the bicycle?
Yes, quite.
Yes, sir, I've taken them.
How soon could I see them and the people you spoke of?
Up there, sir?
Yes.
Well, there's enough train that we can have stop at Pittington, leaving here in half an hour, sir.
I think you'd better come then if you can find the others you mentioned. I'll meet you at the Pittington station.
Right, sir.
Goodbye. I'm very sorry.
Could I ask? You have uncovered some other evidence, sir?
You're not going to arrest John, then? He won't be charged with murder?
I think I can almost assure you that you will not be charged with murder, Mr. Ames. I'm sorry, I must go and meet my colleagues. This is quite important.
Will you be coming back?
I probably shall. I shall want to be able to assure Mr. Ames that he will not be held.
Oh, John.
Is the Scotland Yard man still here, Mr. Ames?
Why,
I'm here, Jemmy.
Well, I fetch you the dead rabbit, sir, with your half-crown's worth of birdshot.
They met him at the railway station 2 hours later. Detective Sergeant Small, Chief Constable Bennett, the lorry driver who had picked up the woman with the bloody hand and the one glove, and the railway porter who had observed the woman carrying the brown paper parcel the size of a gun. Leaving Chief Constable Bennett at the station to make a telephone call, the party proceeded to the Ames farm.
Oh. Good evening, Mr. Caruth.
May we come in, please?
Why, this is quite a delegation.
May we come in, please?
Why, I suppose. Do come in, although...
Thank you. Where's Miss Masterson?
Viola?
Yes, dear? Why, what...
Miss Masterson, do you recognize any of these people?
Why, no, of course not.
Patterson, do you recognize this woman?
She's the lady in blue slacks I picked up my lorry on the road to Matfield yesterday. The lady that said she fell off her bike. Her hand was all bloody and she had one glove on.
Like this one?
Yes, sir. Exactly like that.
O'Connor.
Yes, sir?
Have you ever seen this lady before?
I seen her yesterday, sir. Getting off the 12:06 train that passes through Pittington before it gets to Batfield. She was wearing blue slacks and carried a brown paper parcel about the size of a gun, sir.
Now, look here, what's the meaning of all this?
Come in. Well, Bennett.
Just like you thought, sir. I telephoned the doctor who treated Miss Masterson, and he informs me that he treated her left hand for multiple lacerations, removing particles of road gravel and stains of tarvia from the palm. Miss Masterson, there is no gravel or tarvia at the meadow.
Thank you. Mr. Ames, I'm extremely sorry for you.
John, now we won't get married.
Viola Masterson, I arrest you on the charge of willful
I
murder.
wanted to get married, and she stood in our
And I
way,
must
John.
warn you that anything you say will be taken down and may be used in evidence against you.
John, what have I done?
the evidence adduced by Chief Superintendent Carruth, the identifications by the lorry driver and the railway porter, the shotgun pellets which proved identical with those Miss Masterson had fired into the unfortunate rabbit, the glove which was identified as hers by the store which had sold it to her, the gravel from the road in her wounded hand, and the motive, which was all too plain, proved sufficient evidence to convict Viola Masterson of the murders of Mrs. Ames and her daughter, and of the servant Margaret Evans, who provided the first clue, the fourth cup. Miss Masterson had determined to murder the servant to eliminate the only witness to the murder of the others. In a trial marked with frequent air raid alarms caused by an enemy whose depredations could not prevent murder from going on as usual, she was found criminally insane and is now imprisoned in the asylum at Broadmoor. John Ames was tried as an accomplice, but acquitted. He joined the 1st Battalion of the Buffs and was reported missing in action in the Italian campaign. Constable, you may turn the file 302 MR651, the Blitz murder case, to the records room. Good afternoon.
You've just heard the first case in the series Whitehall 1212, drawn from the official files of Scotland Yard by permission of Commissioner Sir Harold Scott. All names were changed in this story for obvious reasons, but everything else is true. It occurred. Whitehall 1212 is written and directed for radio by Willis Cooper. We present Hugh Williams, Juno Tobin, and Einan Evans in Plaintiff in a Pretty Hat by Hugh and Margaret Williams, adapted for radio by Peggy Wells.
Come along in, Susan. Will sardine sandwiches be all right?
Lovely. Thank you, Max.
Sardine sandwiches, Watkin. Quickly as you can. Watkin will bring the sandwiches up. Now, is it cold in here?
No, I don't think so.
Perhaps I'd better switch the fire on.
Yes, it's more cozy.
There. You better sit on the mattress. It's the only comfortable thing in the room. We had to lug it up from downstairs. Shall I draw the curtains?
No, don't. It's nice to see the lights outside.
You look very pretty sitting there, Susan.
That's what I intended, but I wasn't quite sure. Max, why haven't you brought me here before?
I thought you'd hate it. We do.
Who does the house belong to?
A chap in the Foreign Office.
A bachelor?
I think so, yes.
Obviously. Where is he?
No one seems to know. Abroad somewhere.
I must say, the sitting room rather gives you that I've been here before feeling, doesn't it?
Personally, it gives me that I don't want to come here again feeling. But how do you mean?
Well, it's terribly London SW1, isn't it?
Ah, is that what it is?
You know, Regency stripes and flowers dying in window boxes. There are scores of rooms exactly like this within 200 or 300 yards of here. All exactly the same. Same shape, same size, same colour, same antique, same everything. And the same caterers, men in white coats to do all the cocktail parties.
How awful. And so confusing.
Well, look what happened the other evening. Poor old Sybil Pennant made her excuses to someone she thought was her hostess for leaving early, told everyone she was going because there wasn't enough to drink, and swept out of her own party in the hell of a temper and someone else's mink. That was the most terrible scene when people tried to explain. It's a pack of lies, shouted Sybil. If this were my house, it would be my party, and if it were my party, most of you wouldn't have been invited. She still hasn't returned the coat, and now the woman's going to prosecute. Are you listening to me?
Mostly looking at you. What about a drink?
Thank you, Max. Yes, please.
What pretty manners you have.
Manners make it man.
I'm not sure what you mean by that. What would you like?
What are you offering?
Champagne. Not exactly ice, but I always think they serve it too cold. Gin and tonic, beer, or a Danish schnapps, and then a bottle of hock with the sardines. Or a Moselle, or a white Bordeaux, or...
Your being in the wine trade certainly has advantages.
My father thinks so.
I think I'd like some champagne, please.
Pink?
Oh, yes. Are we going to celebrate something?
No, I just thought the colour would suit you.
But pink champagne's very much for an occasion, isn't it?
Is it? I don't think so.
Oh, yes. It's nearly always a sign they're going to propose when they order pink champagne.
Oh, really?
It's not always a proposal, of course. Sometimes it's just a proposition. Anyway, it generally means that something's up. But I suppose it doesn't mean anything if you're in the trade. It's just sort of ordinary, everyday stuff. What's the man in the wine trade called?
How do you mean?
Well, what are you, or what, a wine bibber?
Oh, I see. I'm a wine and spirit merchant, or a free vintner, if you prefer it.
Of course, yes. What is it that the vintners find to buy one half so precious as the stuff they sell? Vintner's much jollier, isn't it?
There you are. I'm anxious to try this wine. We've shipped rather a lot of it.
There you are. You're just sampling.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You've just made it quite clear this isn't an occasion. We've got nothing to celebrate. If it's just a wine tasting session, why ask me? I'm not a vintner.
No, but you said you'd had a lot of experience of this wine, so I'd like to have your opinion of it. Good health.
You already know my opinion of it. It usually leads to complications.
Then have some beer instead.
Another opinion I have is that you've been in a funny mood all the evening, sort of secretive and flustered, then wanting to come back here. Did you know your father was going to be out?
I did, yes.
Did you by any chance send him out?
I did, yes.
And pink champagne, I think the whole thing has tremendous possibilities.
There you are. Now you've got beer and champagne. Choose which you want.
I'll have the pink champagne, please, Max.
The sandwiches. Thank you, Watkin. Lady Susan's just made me open a bottle of beer by mistake. Would you like it?
Good evening, my lady. That's very kind of you, my lord, but I've got a glass of whiskey downstairs. Thank you all the same.
Seems a pity to waste it.
Well, it's your own fault, Max. You shouldn't have been so stupid as to think I'd change my mind. I never change my mind.
Is there anything else I can get you, my lord?
Nothing, thank you, Watkin.
Then I'll draw the curtain.
No, don't bother, thank you. Lady Susan admires our view.
Really, my lady?
You sound as though you don't agree with me.
I can't say that I do, my lady. If you want a view, you should come to Llandrian Castle. Westwards, across the Welsh mountains, and to the east, across Offa's Dyke, the River Wye, and Little England, and the morning sun. Only outlooks are here in London.
I've talked to you on the telephone, haven't I?
Regularly, my lady.
Do you know what my father's doing this evening?
Well, he said he was going to the House of Lords until I reminded him that Parliament hadn't yet reassembled. Then he said he'd go to his club.
Did he say what time he'd be back?
No, my lord. He said he'd probably play bridge, and if he won a bit early, he'd have some oysters and go to the pictures.
Have you been in all the evening?
Except for half an hour when I took the dogs out. No messages. Then I listened to the wireless. Sibelius 5th from the Festival Hall.
Oh, that's where we've been. What did you think of it?
Oh, well enough balanced concert, my lady, but I was a little bit disappointed with the Sibelius. I've heard it done better. He took the third movement a little too slowly. No, I've heard it done better.
Oh, dear. And I thought it so wonderful.
So it is. So it is indeed. The 5th is always wonderful, no matter who the conductor is. But being what I am, which is a silly old man, I enjoy it just that little bit more if I can find something to pick on and have a little grumble about. I'd have made a proper old music critic.
Why did you call it Little England just now?
Well, my lady, looking down on it from the top of a Welsh mountain, it does look little. Little and sort of tidy. All beautifully spread out before you like a green banner, with the River Wye running through it like stitches of silver. All higgledy-piggledy, anyhow, as though it had been threaded by an old drunk woman with a crooked bodkin. And the wind on your face so soft and gentle, you'd think it was the earth breathing. You can't breathe at all here in London. Good night, my lady.
Watkin, I should like to see your view.
I'd be very proud to show it to you, my lady. Good night, my lord.
Good night, Watkin.
Why haven't you told me about Watkin before?
I don't know. Why should I?
But you mustn't just take him for granted. He's wonderful.
I suppose he is.
But he's not quite real. He's sort of magic. I believe he's Merlin.
He's a damn bad cook. Have a sandwich.
Thank you. Why does he dress like that?
Well, he's not a butler at all, of course. He's a gamekeeper. We tried him in a black coat, but it didn't work. He said to put an old countryman in clothes like that, except on Sundays, was worse than trapping rabbits in a gin.
But how cruel of you to bring him to London.
No, he suggested it, insisted on it. When we had to sell the shooting at Landrian, the man who bought it had his own keeper, so there's no longer a job for Watkin.
Couldn't he have got a job somewhere else?
Of course he could, but he won't leave Papa.
And we have to let the house every season. That was a condition of the purchase. So when the shooting season begins, Watkin and Papa become sort of displaced persons, and up they drive to London, cursing and grumbling and singing dirty songs in Welsh.
Isn't it a bore having to let your home to other people? Don't you hate it?
Well, I'm stuck here anyway, but it's a bit wretched for Papa. Still, we charge a hell of a rent for the house, which helps.
Oh, dear. Such a pity, isn't it?
What particularly?
That we're all so poor nowadays.
Papa says they ought to put church mice in Trafalgar Square instead of the lions. He wrote a letter to the Office of Works saying that because of the present penal taxation, a church mouse was nowadays more symbolic of courage than a lion. And as it was an animal indigenous to Great Britain, was therefore more suitably patriotic. He didn't get an answer.
What a shame.
Now he's written to the College of Heralds saying he intends incorporating a church mouse into his coat of arms.
Thrifty. That's what we've all got to be, jolly thrifty. I'll have some more champagne while the going's good.
You shall in a moment.
In a moment?
Come here.
Max, why haven't you done that before?
Lots of reasons.
Haven't you wanted to?
Oh, of course I have. You know that.
Well, then why? How long have you wanted to kiss me?
I think all my life.
That's very sweet, but not an answer.
All right, then. Ever since the moment I heard someone say, "Do you know Susan Creel?" And you smiled and said, "How do you do?" and held out your hand. Then and there, that very instant, in front of everybody. And ever since, I've thought of nothing else except taking you in my arms and kissing you.
3 whole weeks.
And 19 days.
You bowed rather stiffly, like a waiter.
I had a glass in one hand and a plate in the other.
You didn't even speak.
I was a dumb waiter.
You just stood. I didn't think you were quite right in the head. Oh, why have you waited 19 days? I've been so worried I kept thinking of those ghastly advertisements. Oh, Max, darling. Darling, Max, why have you kept me waiting? You see, I was right. I knew I was right. Oh, you wonderful pink magic, gorgeous stuff. You never fail, do you? But this time, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now, half a minute.
Quickly, darling, give me some more champagne. No, don't. No, I don't need any more, but you have some. Where's your glass? Please have some. Lots more. Open another bottle. Oh, Max, darling, I love you so much. Do you love me? Tell me you love me. Please tell me. I know you love me, so you might as well say you do.
Yes, I love you. I love you very much.
Oh, don't be so solemn about it. It's such an exciting, astonishing, gorgeous feeling. Perhaps you've been in love before. I never have. I've tried to be for years. I've tried to imagine what it's like, but I never guessed right because I never guessed it made you so happy. Oh, Max, I am so happy. Tell me you love me again.
No, first I've got to tell you something else.
No, tell me you love me first, please.
All right, I love you. That doesn't mean I'm just mad about you because you're pretty and attractive and desirable. It means I really love you. And because I love you, I want to marry you.
Max.
Now, don't interrupt. It means if I did marry you...
When, darling? Soon?
It means if I did marry you, I should want more than anything else in the world to be a reasonable sort of husband. More than making a lot of money or being a success or important or making friends and influencing people. I'd want to make you happy. I'm a selfish man. And I should lead a very selfish life, because to make you happy would keep me happy. But once you were mine, I'd be rather particular that you stayed mine.
Always, my darling, always. You didn't want me to take the beer, did you?
No, my love.
Oh, darling, I've never been so happy or excited in the whole of my life. It's like Christmas Eve and Christmas morning rolled into one because you're still somehow excited and looking forward to something you've already got.
Now, wait a minute.
I wish there was someone to congratulate us. Let's go and tell Watkin. Come on.
Now, wait a minute, please, Susan. There's nothing to congratulate us about yet.
We've just got engaged. That's enough, isn't it?
We're not engaged.
Not engaged? You've asked me to marry you, and I've accepted. That's getting engaged, isn't it?
Usually, yes, but not this time.
Why not?
Because, oh, Lord, because you can't be engaged to 2 people at the same time.
What did you say?
I said you can't be engaged to 2 people at the same time. It's not criminal like bigamy, but I imagine it's illegal.
You mean you're already engaged to someone else?
I'm afraid so.
Have you gone out of your mind?
Jolly nearly, yes. I suppose that's why you thought I wasn't quite right in the head the first time we met. I wasn't really dumb. I just couldn't speak. I could only stare. I kept thinking, what have I done? That girl over there's the person I want to marry. And I've gone and asked somebody else.
Oh, Max. But when did all this happen?
About 6 weeks ago.
Only 3 weeks before you met me. Oh, darling, how could you?
How was I to know I was going to meet you?
I don't know, but you ought to have done. Were you in love with her?
Yes. No, of course not. Well, I mean, I thought I was, till I saw you. Oh, Susan, darling, I'm so terribly sorry.
Anyone can make a mistake. I don't really see it's your fault. Who is she? Do I know her?
Yes, I think you do. She's a girl called Jennifer Wren.
The journalist?
Yes.
Of course I know her. She's a darling.
That's what she said about you, oddly enough.
Oh.
Susan, you do still believe I love you. And don't stop believing that just because I'm engaged to someone else.
No, I won't. But somehow it doesn't seem like Christmas anymore. Well, what happens now? Where do we go from here?
Well, I thought I'd talk to Papa about it tonight. He'll know what to do. He always does. Oh, Susan, darling, don't look so miserable. It'll be all right. And, you know, Romeo was madly in love with Rosaline when he first met Juliet. I mean, it's happened before.
How does that help? I want a honeymoon. I don't want to wake up and find you dead beside me in a tomb.
Oh, my love. Oh.
Oh, sorry, I must be early.
Oh, hello, Papa. Yes, you are a bit, aren't you? Do you know Susan? Susan Creel, my father.
How do you do, Lord Hewlin?
No, not how do you do. You've got it wrong. You should say, hello, how are you after all these years?
I'm so sorry. Have we met before?
Certainly, but you've aged considerably. I think you were 10. Have you still got a white Pekingese?
Getting very old now.
Called Moonbeam?
That's right.
He was given to you because for some reason you couldn't go to Switzerland with the rest of your family. I think you had mumps.
Right again.
And your middle name is Noel because you were born on Christmas Day.
How on earth do you remember that?
I lost an umbrella at your christening.
Well, you seem to know an awful lot about me. And all I know about you is that you sing dirty songs in Welsh.
Max, I think that was very wrong of you. Yes, it's bad luck having your birthday on Christmas Day, but you know, I believe you can change it by deed poll or whatever it is. I rather think Robert Louis Stevenson swapped his with some child he knew who was unfortunate enough to be born on Christmas Day. I tell you what, you can have mine. April the 17th. Would you like it?
That's very sweet of you, but...
I'll write to Somerset House in the morning. I see you've been drinking champagne, so have I.
Have some more.
Thank you.
You must have won, then.
Yes, thank God.
Where have you been drinking champagne?
At the zoo.
Watkins said you were going to the cinema.
Well, after staring at 3 grumpy old men playing bridge for 2 hours, I couldn't stand more faces. I wanted something kinder, gentler, and the only places to find those are the zoo or the Battersea Dogs Home. They don't have a bar at Battersea.
Where did you dine?
I didn't. I had a sandwich.
What kind?
Sardine.
Oh, we'll have another.
No, thank you, no. I say, this champagne's very good, isn't it? We got much of it.
Another bottle.
Well, let's open it. We'll drink to our new birthdays. Do sit down, Susan.
No, I must be off, I'm afraid.
Oh, please, not just yet.
I was just going when you came in.
I thought it looked more as if you were planning to stay.
Besides, Max wants to talk to you.
I'd sooner talk to you.
Thank you. But I want Max to talk to you, too.
Am I wrong in supposing all the talking I shall do is to congratulate him?
Quite wrong.
Then I'm very disappointed.
Goodbye, Lord Hewlin, and do be nice to him.
Well, I always am. Give my love to your mother and father. Are they in London or up north?
They come down next week. Max, telephone me in the morning, will you?
I'll come and find a taxi for you.
No, I'm going to walk.
Then I'll come with you.
To the front door, that's all. I'll send him back in a minute, Lord Hewlin. And thank you again.
Whatever for?
April the 17th. My new birthday. Will it make us older or younger?
Whichever you like.
I think older.
Ah, I was afraid you'd say that. But certainly, most certainly, whatever you wish.
I must say, you're very obliging.
We try to give satisfaction, my lady. We have a very pretty line in Wedding Days, if you're interested.
Not today, thank you. Perhaps some other time.
When we are married, we'll have sausages for tea. Sausages for tea. Sausages for tea. Pum, 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 pum. Well, Max, she's a pretty girl, isn't she?
Yes, Papa. I think so.
Oh, yes. Funny, she had no looks at all when she was 10. Come and sit over here and bring the bottle. I've got your drink here.
Oh, good.
I thought perhaps more of this champagne would comfort you if I should fail. Fill to the brim the sprightly bowl, naught but wine can cure the soul. I like sprightly bowl, don't you?
Do I seem in need of comfort?
Yes. Now drink up and tell me all about it.
Well, I'm in a bit of a mess, I'm afraid.
Well, who hasn't been at some time or another?
Well, not a bit of a mess, really. A hell of a mess.
Well, then we must get you out of it. That's my privilege.
Yes.
No, I mean that. I've always supposed that someday you'll come to me looking unhappy and muttering those well-known words. I'm very gratified and flattered that you have. And believe me, my dear boy, my anxiety at the moment is for neither the extent nor degree of the folly or felony you may have committed, but whether I shall prove competent to get you out of it. I'm hoping it's something simple and straightforward like grand larceny or incendiarism, but I've a horrible feeling it's something to do with Susan Creel.
Yes, it is. I don't quite know where to begin.
Well, you drink and I'll begin. She's in love with you, that's obvious. Were you in love with her?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
You want to marry her?
Yes, very much.
Splendid. I think she's enchanting. Well, now, let's see. There won't be any objections from our parents. We haven't any money, but who the hell has? So what can be the obstacle? Why do you need champagne, comfort, and fatherly advice? Is she engaged to marry your greatest friend?
No.
No, I've seen no announcement. Oh, my dear boy.
I think you're getting warm, Papa.
You're secretly engaged to our sister?
No, not her sister.
But someone?
Yes, that's it, I'm afraid.
Well, I'll be damned.
Well, I don't see what the hell's so funny about it.
No, you wouldn't. So I think I must tell you. I never intended to, but I really think I must. I was just about your age when I did the same thing.
What do you mean?
I tell you, I did precisely the same thing.
What?
But mine was far more tricky. The engagement was announced, so was the date of the wedding. It was to be a big wedding, the full treatment.
What happened?
I met your mother. Oh, how I wish she were alive. Heavens, how she'd laugh.
Well, then what happened?
My father got me out of it. I hope this sort of thing doesn't become a family tradition.
How did he do it?
Well, it wasn't easy. We got a couple of doctors to say that for the good of my health, I should go abroad immediately. I resigned my commission, renounced all thought of marriage, nobly released the lady from our promise, and went to Switzerland for a year. Your grandfather insisted I shouldn't waste my time doing nothing, so I was made to study the manufacture of cream cheese. I can't say the knowledge I acquired has been of any lasting value, but scandal was averted. However, just because you got yourself in the same soup that I did, I see no reason why you should follow my example quite as far as the cheese.
Well, I'll be damned.
Well, that's the first time I've heard you laugh for a fortnight now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have I been a bore?
No, certainly not. But it's been obvious something has been worrying you. I didn't ask any questions because I thought you'd probably tell me when you felt like it.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? To be in love with a girl 1 minute and the next to realize you're not, and you've simply got to marry someone else. I mean, I'm an ordinary, rational, sane sort of person, and yet I behave like a lunatic. I feel awful about it, but somehow I can't feel it's my fault. I should, I suppose, but I don't. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
Well, of course it's not your fault. And, of course, it's extraordinary. Falling in love has always been extraordinary. If it hadn't, it would have died out when the world was still young.
Might have saved a lot of trouble.
No, I can't agree with you there. If the human race had gone on reproducing itself without being inspired by love, just mating like animals at certain seasons, we'd never have got further than a duck-billed platypus. I saw one this evening. It was horrible.
Oh, I don't know. It seems to me falling in love gets you into trouble. Causes unhappiness, problems, upheavals, suicides, the lot.
Well, there's no alternative that wouldn't be quite unbearably dreary, and anyway, we're stuck with it, so why not enjoy it? I did.
Well, I must say it's a hell of a relief to hear you did the same thing, Papa.
Well, it must be. If I hadn't, you wouldn't be here. Now, tell me about this girl you promised to marry.
Her name's Jennifer Wren.
Jenny Wren. That sounds unlikely to start with. Did she make it up, or is it her own?
No, it's her own. She's a journalist, Australian.
A variation on an old theme. Say I'm growing old, but add, Jenny kissed my son and heir. I like Australians. How long you known her?
Oh, 18 months, I suppose. Not well until this summer. She was staying with the Cuthbertsons in the south of France at the same time as I was.
Ah, that moonlit Mediterranean.
Yes. At the end of 3 weeks, I came home, and Jenny went on to Venice to cover the film festival. We were going to wait till she got back before we announced our engagement. I was going to tell you, of course, but I didn't have time.
What do you mean you didn't have time?
Well, the day after I got back, I met Susan.
Oh, I see. And Miss Wren returned today?
Yesterday.
Well, my dear boy, the whole thing's perfectly simple.
Huh?
I can't see we want any doctor certificates or Swiss francs or anything else. Thank God, because how you get Swiss francs without English pounds is the kind of currency infringement I don't know much about. I could write to the Treasury, I suppose they'd know. But I can't see there'll be any trouble at all. The thing to do is to go and see Miss Wren, be perfectly frank, and explain. We'll say we realize you've behaved very badly, you're terribly sorry and distressed about it all, but there it is. You've fallen in love with someone else, and will she release you? Why, people are doing it all the time. No one thinks anything of it nowadays.
I've done that.
Well, what'd she say?
She said she'd sue me for breach of promise.
Oh. Oh, well, of course, that makes a difference, doesn't it? Watkin? Hot glasses.
Very good, my lord.
And when Miss Wren arrives, I shall nip upstairs and you'll show her in here. That'll give her a moment or two to compose herself.
Compose herself?
Well, she may be a little nervous.
Shall I offer her something to drink?
I don't see why not, do you? She'll probably refuse it anyway.
If she's nervous, would you like me to try and put her at her ease, my lord?
I don't think we want her in any way confident, Watkin. We'll just give her time to comb her hair and fix her face. That's being quite fair, I think, without giving away any advantage.
May I make a suggestion, my lord?
What's that?
Beer for lunch, not hock. We want to seem as poor as possible, don't we? Hock's too affluent.
Yes, I see your point. On the other hand, I doubt if I'm capable of talking this girl out of suing my son on a bottle of light ale.
I don't suppose you'll do that whatever you drink, so why waste a bottle of hock? Breach of promise cases appear in the Queen's Bench Division, I believe, my lord.
Oh, shut up.
Before judge and jury. Amount of damages decided by the jury. Better to settle out of court, you mark my words.
What the hell with?
Yes, my lord, but strictly speaking...
What?
With what the hell, my lord.
Rather jolly, isn't it, that barrel organ? He's sort of merry.
As merry as a marriage bell, my lord.
Watkin, stop teasing me. I'm not in the mood. Hello? Yes? Yes, it is. Oh, good morning, Geoffrey. Well, you've been very busy. I've been waiting over an hour. Well, you've got so many shady clients these days, you've no time for respectable people. Now, listen. We're in a little trouble. Breach of promise. Well, of course I'm serious. No, not me, you ass, Max. Well, when can I see you? This afternoon? Well, let's say 3 o'clock. No, I can't make it before. I've got the girl coming to lunch. Well, the girl. One's going to bring the action. What? Very unwise? Why? Well, I want to see what she's like. I'm going to try and talk her out of it. Well, don't imagine I'm looking forward to it. Stout shoes and bristling with pencils, probably. Well, you never know with young men nowadays, do you? Oh, don't be so pompous. Anyway, I can't put her off now. She'll be here in a minute. All right, 3 o'clock. Oh, Geoffrey, tell me. What'll it cost? I said, what'll it cost if she wins? I know it all depends, but give me a rough idea. What, as rough as that? Yeah, well, 3 o'clock. Goodbye. There she is now, Watkin. Go and let her in. I'm going upstairs.
Very good, my lord. Oh, good morning, Miss Red.
Good morning.
I'll tell his lordship you are here, miss.
Oh, thank you, Watkin. You are Watkin, aren't you?
Yes, miss.
I thought you must be. I've heard a lot about you.
May I get you something to drink?
Oh, thank you, yes. I think I'd like a gin and tonic.
Very good, miss.
Oh, do you think I could possibly use your telephone?
Certainly, miss.
That is kind of you.
Here's your drink, miss.
Thank you, Watkin. Hello? May I speak to Mr. Winter? Miss Wren. Thank you. Johnny? Jenny here. I'm fine, thank you. I thought I'd better let you know I may be a few minutes late. What? Oh, I've got a lunch date, and the traffic's ghastly. Oh, I suppose you'd call it a business lunch. It's with Hewlin, Max's father. Hmm? Why should it be unwise? Oh, what nonsense. That's very old-fashioned and pompous. Well, it's too late now. I'll see you as near 3 as I can. Goodbye.
I'm so sorry, Miss Wren. How very rude of me to keep you waiting.
How do you do, Lord Hewlin?
I do apologize. I had no idea you were here. I hope Watkin looked after you.
Oh, yes, thank you. He made me feel quite at home.
Oh, good.
Which, of course, come to think of it, isn't quite what you wanted, is it?
Oh, I see what you mean. Look here, I brought this crossword down to show you. Here's the most extraordinary coincidence. Look, 7 across. Who, if embraced by the pioneer of vaccination? Now, I must tell you, the pioneer of vaccination was Jenner. Now, if embraced by Jenner. Jen, if, Do you follow?
Yes.
Jenner with if in the middle. Jennifer. Do you see?
Yes.
Well, isn't that rather odd, don't you think?
Well, let's see how much you've done. 1 across, that's an anagram of is a flea fit, which is affiliates.
Oh, is it? Oh, yes, of course.
And that Milton quotation is saintly.
Well, it fits, yes.
It's Comus, isn't it? So dear to heaven is saintly chastity, that when a soul is found sincerely so, 1,000 liveried angels lackey her.
Did you look it up?
No, as a matter of fact.
Well, you've done it already, have you?
Mm.
Did you finish it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, I've been rather busy. I only glanced at it at breakfast.
Really?
Now, let me offer you a drink.
I've got one here, thank you. Watkin gave it to me.
Oh, good. You've just come back from Venice, haven't you?
Yes.
What was it like?
Well, haven't you ever been there?
Oh, not since before the war.
Well, it hasn't changed since the 15th century, so I expect it's more or less as you left it.
Will you have a cigarette?
I've got one, thank you.
Oh, how silly of me. I didn't notice. What a lovely day, isn't it?
Yes, isn't it? I expect it's a sunny interval.
Well, it was all right this morning. Well, good luck.
Thank you. You don't really mean that, do you?
Mean what?
To wish me luck.
Lunch, my lord.
Ah, Watkin. Now, what have we got in the stop press today?
Well, there's the brown Windsor soup, of course, fried fillet of plaice and chips, grilled sausage and bacon, roast beef and Yorkshire, lamb chops, shepherd pie, and toad in the hall.
Oh, now, how do you get the evening paper to print your lunch in their midday editions? Oh, that really is press service.
Apple pie and custard, cabinet pudding, biscuits, and choice of cheese.
Do you feel like the soup? Brown Windsor?
No soup, thank you.
For you, my lord?
Not for me either. Now then, fish or the beef? Chop or toad in the hole? I can't recommend the shepherd's pie, I'm afraid.
I think a chop, please.
A chop, Watkin, and I'll have the beef.
Apple pie and custard or cabinet pudding?
Cheese, please.
Cheddar, cream, or Danish blue?
Cheddar.
I'll have the cabinet pudding.
Spoken like a true Tory.
Will you be taking coffee, my lord?
Please, Watkin.
Black or white?
Miss Wren?
Black.
Large or small?
Small.
Mine or theirs?
Theirs.
Very good, my lord.
Don't look so mystified. He's a very poor cook, so I have my lunch sent in from the public house next door. It's very convenient. Watkin gets the menu sometime during the morning. I give my order, and they just hand it over the garden wall at the back.
What a marvellous idea.
Tell me, Miss Wren, what part of Australia do you come from?
New South Wales, the New England district.
Oh, very confusing.
Why?
Well, it's so geographically misleading.
Why, isn't your Welsh Pembrokeshire called the Little England beyond Wales?
Yes, how right you are. I think you should go up top, Miss Wren.
Thank you.
May I give you another gin and tonic?
No, thank you. I want to stay on top.
You know, your namesake has always been a great favourite of mine.
You mean that little bird?
Little Jenny Wren. She's so dainty, and they have the most delightful customs. At nesting time, the male bird builds sometimes as many as half a dozen nests. Then he shows them to Jenny, and she chooses the one she likes the best. So kind and generous, I always think. Then Jenny sets to work and lines the inside of the nest. She's rather gay and likes bright colours. It's a charming domestic rhapsody, don't you think? I'm talking too much. That's a sign I'm nervous.
Oh, really? I always stammer.
When you're nervous?
Yes.
Why aren't you stammering now? Aren't you nervous?
Not a bit.
I find that very disappointing and rather annoying.
Oh, perhaps when you've finished your drink, you'll feel better.
Yes. I don't know why Watkin laid hot glasses. You'd like some champagne, wouldn't you?
Whichever you prefer.
Well, I got half a bottle here. We'll split that, shall we?
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Ah, good. Here's our lunch.
I'm sorry, my lord.
Why is that, Watkin?
That's a stupid mistake on my part.
How's that?
I understood you to say that you'd be drinking hock.
Oh, that's all right, Watkin. We all make mistakes at times.
So it appears, my lord.
You needn't wait. We can look after ourselves.
Very good, my lord.
Lord Hewlin, why have you asked me to lunch?
I wanted to see what you were like. I wanted, if possible, to find out what you were like. And I wanted to persuade you not to bring this action against my son.
I see. Well, that's very frank.
Well, now, perhaps you'll answer me a question. Why did you get engaged to Max?
What a strange thing to ask.
Not at all. You're obviously not in love with him.
Why do you say that?
Because if you were, you'd want him back. And you wouldn't start trying to get him back by suing him. And because, if you forgive me, jilted young ladies with breaking hearts don't usually look as radiant as you do.
Surely the point at issue is not if I'm in love with Max, but that he is no longer in love with me.
Ah, but he thought he was at the time. I don't think you ever did. He's practically no money, so why do you want to marry him?
I like him immensely, and I find him physically very attractive. I think those are better reasons for marriage than falling in love.
What makes you say that?
Because I've been in love.
And what happened that time?
He made me utterly miserable for 3 years. He was worthless, idle, and absolutely untrustworthy, and I adored him. The reason I wanted to marry Max is very simple. I should have enjoyed making him a good wife. Not only that, the idea of marriage appeals to me. Companionship, security, background, children. That seems a better way of life to me than being single. Single. It's a lonely word. Lonely, empty, incomplete. Besides, I think you always want to have a shot at something you think you'll be good at. I think I'd be good at marriage. Have I answered your question?
You have indeed. And you're not prepared to forgive Max his mistake and call it a day?
I'm prepared to forgive him, yes. Not to call it a day.
Why not?
I've told you I'm very fond of Max. I want him to be happy. If I can't make him happy, I suppose someone else will. But there's also my happiness. I admit my heart's not broken. At the same time, I've lost the chance of what might have been a very happy life. I think I deserve something in return for that.
You do?
Yes.
How much?
Are you thinking of trying to settle out of court?
Certainly not.
Because I've been advised not to. My lawyer considers a jury would probably be more correct in their assessment of damages than you and he would.
Do you think you have sufficient evidence to convince a jury?
So my lawyer says. Letters, of course, and all the witnesses.
Witnesses?
About half a dozen. All the people who were staying with the Cuthbertsons at the same time as we were.
Miss Wren, I hope you'll forgive what I'm going to say.
That depends on what it is.
Max usually speaks the truth to me, and last night he told me that you and he had not been lovers. He may, of course, have considered that on this occasion he was justified in not telling me the truth.
No, he told you the truth.
Have you thought of the publicity a case like this would get?
Yes, of course I have.
That doesn't deter you?
Not a bit.
Do you mean you wouldn't mind?
Oh, I don't mean that at all. I should absolutely hate it.
Well, then.
But not nearly as much as you would, or Max, or Susan Creel, or Susan's mother and father.
That's a damn pretty hat you're wearing.
I'm glad you like it.
Well, I'm not. I don't intend to let you get away with this, and I should find it a great deal easier to be antagonistic if you hadn't got a pretty hat.
I don't see how you're going to stop me.
Nor do I, yet. But don't underestimate me, and remember I'm Welsh and extremely cunning. The Scots think they're canny, and the Irish brag about their blarney. Good Lord, in the Kingdom of Wales, we'd learnt all there was to know about that sort of thing when Scotland was still a forest and Ireland was full of snakes.
Is that a challenge?
Not a challenge. A kindly warning. You know, I'm most interested in this question of equality of the sexes. Equal pay and so on. I imagine your income is larger than Max's.
Yes, I dare say.
You have a car?
Yes.
A flat of your own?
Yes.
An expense account, holidays with pay?
Yes.
Well, Max has none of these things. It seems, once again, that some are more equal than others.
Or more successful.
If you prefer it.
I take it you disapprove of career girls.
I dislike the expression, career girls. To me, it suggests something grasping, struggling, predatory.
Just because they work hard and earn their own living.
No. That's splendid, of course. No, it's just the expression. It's worse than housewife. You know, before the war, a married woman was called a wife, which implied that she had a husband. Nowadays, she's called a housewife, which somehow implies she only has a gas ring and a kitchen sink. We're the Brontes, career girls, do you imagine? But I was going to say, in spite of earning more money than Max, You still feel justified?
In bringing an action against him for breach of promise?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
But don't you see that this precious equality, this great 20th century emancipation of women which your sex has so relentlessly pursued and so unfortunately achieved, it's not cockeyed when something like this happens because you immediately start shouting for privilege again.
You're the one who's shouting.
A young man jilts a girl, and you expect the world to say the fellow's a blackguard, serves him right if she takes him to court. A girl jilts a young man, and you expect to hear, "Oh, poor child. But how fortunate she found out her mistake in time." You're exerting your privilege this very instant by forcing me to apologize for shouting. The whole situation's intolerable.
I think it's delicious. But you must agree that in the case of breach of promise, we're justified in claiming the privilege of the weaker sex.
Why?
Well, we must, how shall I say, preserve our right of way in case we're wronged. Besides, it's a biological instinct.
Well, how do you mean?
Women have babies, Lord Hewlin.
The fact remains, Miss Wren, that morally you're not entitled to 1 farthing from my son.
But legally a great deal more, I think.
Legally, you can deny your debts if you're a minor, plead the Gaming Act, or turn Queen's evidence. That doesn't say those actions are morally defensible.
I've come a long way, Lord Hewlin, from that small town where I was born in New South Wales. And since I was 15, I've made the journey alone. Now, don't be alarmed that I'm going to inflict my life story on you, nor that I'm going to arouse your sympathy. I just want you to realize there I was, with no parents, no money, no home. Only a brother in the army who was still overseas. And here I am now, well on my way, drinking champagne in a rather pretty hat. But, and it's a big but, you may dislike the expression career girl. Believe me, I dislike being one. I've been one long enough, and I've seen other women who've been at it longer. And 6 weeks ago, I saw the chance of the future I've always wanted, with someone to look after me and take care of me, so that I wouldn't have to struggle any more or ever again be lonely. It was as if my fairy godmother had waved her wand and my whole life was suddenly changed. I was inside the palace, not just looking through the gates. The music was playing, and as I danced with Prince Charming, he asked for my hand in marriage. He was handsome, kind, and attractive, and I was very happy. And very proud, too, because I'd never had a fairy godmother to wave her wand. I'd done it all myself. I think both legally and morally, I'm entitled to compensation when Prince Charming changes his mind and decides to live happily ever after with somebody else.
Cinderella's father was, of course, the Baron Stonybroke. However, that's not the point. The point is that when my father died, I had to sell 15,000 acres of my land to pay death duties. That's all right, that's fine. Tax the rich to help the poor. Perfectly right, and hurrah for the welfare state. But I'm in the hapless position of being accounted the rich, and am in fact the poor. By living economically and making certain personal sacrifices and letting my house for 6 months of the year, I just about managed to fulfill my responsibilities as a landlord. But I am by nature a rather self-indulgent person, and I make those sacrifices for my tenants, Miss Wren. Not for you. I'll tell you why. I have tenants whose families, generation after generation, have been paying rent to my family since before the Reformation. We've shared the same wind and weather, the same mists and rains, the shadows in the valleys and the sunlight on the mountains, the same sights and sounds and smells and seasons of the year, the same songs and the same silences, and the same churchyard when we die. And sometimes, when a girl was pretty, we've shared the same bed, which accounts for the fact that Watkin and I have the same dissolute great-grandfather. So you see, the little money I have is needed. And you can bet all Lombard Street to a China orange I won't let you get hold of 1 penny of it if I can help it. You look very serious. What are you thinking?
I was thinking how lucky it was for me you told me you were cunning.
How disappointing. I had a feeling you were about to capitulate.
Certainly not. But I think if we're going to bet, we should shorten the odds and reduce the stakes. I'll lay you a bottle of brandy to a bottle of scent. I beat you.
It's a bet. I say we've let our lunch get cold. Oh, but that could never have been beef, surely, even when it was hot.
That must be the toad in the hole. I expect the beef was off. Now, just to show you that sometimes I am kind and generous, you can have my chop.
No, we can't eat that. This is a lunch party, not a suicide pact. Come on, we buy some sandwiches and have a picnic in the park.
Oh, it might rain on my hat.
Well, then, what's the most fashionable restaurant? We'll go there.
I'm not going to let you waste money on me like that. The little money you have is needed.
It would not be waste, and it's still my money, Miss Red.
That's for the jury to decide. We'll go to the grill, where I can sign a bill, and you can have it on the expense account.
Really? Do you mean that?
Yes, of course.
How splendid. Do you know, I don't think I've ever had a meal on an expense account.
Then you're what's called a sucker, Lord Hewlin.
How perfectly splendid. Well, the poor have soup kitchens. Why shouldn't business executives have their grill rooms? Now, come on, drink up. It's getting late, and I've got an appointment at 3.
So have I.
With whom?
Surely that's my business.
Is it, by any chance, with your lawyer?
As a matter of fact, it is.
So's mine. Did you tell him you were lunching with me?
Yes, I did. He was rather annoyed.
Well, so was mine.
He said it was very unwise.
But that's what mine said.
I told him not to be so pompous.
Well, so did I. That's exactly what I said. Oh, Watkin, we don't want that coffee, and you can clear away.
Isn't your lunch to your liking, my lord?
He's had a better offer, Watkin, and we're going to take a free lunch off a press baron.
Liberty, equality, and the expense account.
Equality of the sexes.
I don't see why not. I don't think I've got no money for the taxi. Watkin, you got any money?
I'm sorry, my lord. End of the week.
Will this help?
What? Oh, well, thank you, yes. Well, I owe you £1. Come along.
Hello? Yes? This is Lord Hewling's butler speaking. Who is that? Oh, his lordship is not at home, I'm afraid. I can't say. No idea at all. Very good.
Hello, Watkin. Did I hear you say Papa wasn't in?
No, but he said he'd be back for lunch, my lord.
Who was that on the telephone?
One of the evening papers.
Oh.
That'll be the photographer back again. He's been waiting half the morning for you, swilling beer next door. A generous little fellow, though, mind. Offered me a sovereign for a picture of you as a baby.
Oh, you probably owe me £1 then.
Oh, no, I don't. I couldn't find one of you, so I gave him one of myself.
Oh, hello, my darling. Watkins just on his way down to let you in.
Oh, I'll go, my baby.
Hello, Watkins.
Come along, darling. We thought you were a press photographer.
Oh, Lord. Have you had them too? I bought you a red carnation.
Oh, thank you, my angel. How very sweet of you.
It's not sweet at all. It's just that I'm in love with you, and it's a lovely morning. Not that I've had one. A lovely morning, I mean. First Mummy, then Daddy, then both.
Saying what?
Quite a lot. Have you seen this paper? Listen. Quite London's gayest party last night was given by Mrs. Lansbury Gordon. Guests were not admitted unless they were dressed in red, white, and blue, which made the dance floor not only attractive and colourful, but so patriotic. Lady Susan Creel said it reminded her of Coronation Year. She's brilliant, that girl. Never misses a thing. Once again, she danced mostly with Lord Plinlimmon, and what a romantic-looking couple they make. Friends are expressing surprise. Their engagement has not yet been officially announced. That's nothing to what Mum and Dad are expressing. But you can expect it any day now, they say. Lady Susan was among the first to leave. She has to get up early to take her white Pekingese Moonbeam for his run in the park. How nice it is these days to find the younger generation with a real sense of responsibility towards their friends in the dog world. Now, isn't that the full up, Chuck?
Nonsense. I think it's charming.
And I know who wrote it, the son of a friend in the dog world. Don't laugh, Max.
I'm sorry, my darling. I couldn't help it. The thought of you scampering across the green grass, the wind in your hair and the dew on the ground, Moonbeam with asthma, and you with a hangover, to those who know and love you both, it's very funny.
It's not funny, and I don't have hangovers. It's damn serious and worrying. I don't mind being made to look a fool in that sort of way, but I'm fed up with friends are expressing surprise their engagement is not yet announced.
Yes.
And the press ringing up and asking if we can confirm the rumour, and Mummy saying if you absolutely insist on marrying somebody without a penny piece, do, for heaven's sake, make him propose to you. It's high time, darling. People are beginning to gossip. And Daddy muttering, if you ask me, we'd better go back to Scotland and let the whole thing blow over. What are we going to do, Max?
Oh, my darling, I'm so sorry. So terribly sorry about it all. It's all my fault, and I can't bear you to be unhappy about it.
We ought to be so happy. So wonderfully happy, not miserable and unhappy. It's a month now, and what's happened? Nothing. Why? Why doesn't she do something?
Jenny? She's been away for the last 10 days. Before that, she did plenty.
In what way?
I've told you, she organised all this publicity for us and went...
I don't believe it.
But of course she has. She's got a hell of a lot of friends in Fleet Street. Everyone likes her. Of course she's organised it. And when she thinks the limelight's really focused on us, she'll come back from Brussels, pretend she hasn't seen any English papers and heard the rumours, slap in a writ for breach of promise, and let the whole story break all over the front pages. Oh, very clever. Very, very clever. Instead of being the nice little obscure couple we were a month ago, she's turned us into two well-known people. We're practically celebrities. And when the case is heard, we'll attract national attention and interest. My behaviour will appear perfectly infamous, the jury will be wildly prejudiced in her favour before they're ever sworn in, and she'll be awarded thumping damages. She's got the initiative. She knows we can't do a damn thing until she makes the first move.
Supposing we said to hell with her and announced our engagement today.
That'd be even worse. She'd get her friends to write up her side of the story and retire in headlines to a nursing home with a nervous breakdown.
Then we'll have to make up our minds we've just got to jolly well pay.
That's a split infinitive. It should be to pay jolly well. And that's precisely what we did make up our minds to do. I haven't told you before because I kept thinking she'd accept and the whole thing would be settled. Papa saw her 3 times before she went away, and each time he offered her more. She's knocked him up from 1,000 to 2,000, and he's absolutely hopping mad.
Have you got £2,000?
No, but it doesn't matter because she turned it down flat.
I wonder if Daddy would cough up a bit. Or perhaps if we got married very quietly, and I didn't have a trousseau and we didn't have a honeymoon.
Now, don't be so damn silly. Of course we're going to have a honeymoon and a trousseau and everything else. And you're going to look the most adorable bride that ever walked down an aisle. Oh, darling, I simply can't go on saying I'm sorry over and over again. It's too like playing tennis at the vicarage. But you do know how I feel, don't you? I can't bear making people unhappy. And to make someone you love more than anything in the world unhappy is too awful.
It's no more your fault than it is mine.
Of course it is. I've made an absolute first-class bog of the whole thing.
But what are we going to do?
Well, heavens knows, I don't. Papa keeps saying he'll think of something and not to worry, but personally I think she's got him tied in a bow. She knows perfectly well that after all this blasted publicity, we daren't let it come into court. The press would tear us apart. Tear me apart, I should say.
Who'd care, anyway?
Your family, they'd care a lot. Papa would care, and so would you.
I shouldn't. You know I wouldn't.
You don't want to marry someone who's been smeared all over the picture papers as a love cheat. No, she's turned the glare of the limelight on us, knowing we can't face it. It's a damn cute, high-powered form of blackmail, and we'll have to pay whatever she asks.
But why is she doing it? I can't believe it's just for the money. The few times I've met her, she seemed such a nice person.
Nice? Oh, she's a little ruthless Australian ruffian with no scruples or morals and without a shred of decent feeling. And one day I'm damn well going to tell her so.
Talking about me, I take it.
Oh.
Hello, Jenny. How are you? We didn't hear the bell.
Oh, I'm fine, thanks, Susan. Simply fine.
When did you get back?
Last night. Had a marvellous time. Oh, hello, Max. Oh, I say, you've lost all your lovely suntan. What a shame. It was so becoming. You ought to get a lamp. Perhaps I'll be very sweet and give you one as a wedding present. Well, now, I suppose I must congratulate you two.
What the hell on, I'd like to know?
Oh, don't be cross, Max. On your forthcoming marriage, of course.
I don't know how to thank you.
Don't you? I thought I'd made that quite clear. I really came to see your father. Watkins said he'd be in shortly, so do you mind if I wait? I'll go for a walk and come back if you're dying to be alone.
Sit down, won't you?
Oh, that is kind. Thank you so much. Where do you suggest?
Anywhere you like.
I think the mattress. Now, tell me, what have you two been doing?
As if you didn't know.
What on earth do you mean, darling?
You know exactly what I mean.
I only know what I read in the papers.
What you write in the papers, you mean?
Oh, nonsense. They don't waste me on gossip columns. I didn't see the English papers in Brussels, but I must say you were having some lovely publicity before I left. And I adore that picture of you sitting on the stairs somewhere. I think you were laughing, Max. Or maybe you were yawning. Anyway, your mouth was open.
Why have you been so wicked, Jenny?
I haven't been wicked, Susan. Only cunning, I think was the word your father used, Max. Not about me, of course. About himself. He thinks he's awfully cunning, and he's rather proud of it.
And you think you're just that much more cunning than he is.
That's it. That's exactly it. Oh, I wish he'd hurry up.
Why? Are you embarrassed?
Not a bit. I just thought he'd probably offer me a drink.
Oh, well, I'm awfully sorry. What would you like?
A gin and tonic, please.
Susan?
Not for me, thanks.
Oh, come on, Susie. I'm not going to drink alone.
Max will have one.
Oh, he's in such a temper he'd probably do the nose trick. Oh, what fun. I do wish he would. Oh, Max, be a darling and do the nose trick for us.
You were right, you know, Jenny.
What about this time?
We were talking about you when you came in. I'll tell you what I said. I said you were a ruthless little Australian ruffian without scruples or morals or decent feelings. Here's your drink, and I hope it chokes you.
No, you're the one we want to choke. Ah, lovely. Thank you. Now, I wonder...
What do you wonder?
Is that slander or libel? I never remember which is which, do you? I say, I wish you'd put it in writing. That'd be splendid. Then I'd really have you on toast. Or do you think I'm doing all right as it is?
You're not to tease him, Jenny. It's unfair.
Yes, I think you're right. So I'll drink to him instead. And to you, Susie. I hope your marriage will be a tremendous success and that you'll both be very happy. I mean that, which you can believe or not, as you please.
I believe it, and I think it's jolly sweet of you. And I'll drink to it, too. Give me one, Max.
What about you, Max, darling? What do you believe?
Amongst other things, that you're a crook. A greedy, rapacious, blackmailing crook.
Oh, what horrid words. What's rapacious mean?
You ought to know. You're a journalist.
Ah, but not on that sort of paper.
All right, then, I'll tell you. Seizing, grasping, like a beast of prey when it's very hungry.
Oh, dear, that's very unkind. Blackmailing, yes. Not greedy or rapacious. You'll see how wrong you are when you know why I've come here. Then you'll be sorry you've been so beastly.
Why have you come here? Just to twist my tail?
I've told you to see your father.
Is he expecting you?
No.
Ah, then he'll probably be rude to you, and I shall be delighted. What do you want to see him about?
I shan't tell you till he gets here.
I think I can guess.
Oh, no, you can't.
Well, here's to us.
Oh, come on, Max, darling. What about the nose trick?
I shall do nothing of the kind.
6 weeks ago, you'd have done anything for me. Oh, how wonderful. He's done it, Susie.
Which of you has poisoned my son? Susan? What are you doing here, Miss Wren? I thought you were abroad.
And hoped, no doubt, behind the Iron Curtain.
Precisely. When did you escape?
Yesterday.
Oh, pity. What's the matter with Max?
He did the nose trick with his drink. It was angelic of him because I asked him to. But, of course, I never thought he really would. Oh, Max, you are obliging. That simply made my day. Oh, are you all right now?
You know what you are, don't you? You are a little...
Max, you're not to call her that.
He's just called me a greedy, rapacious, blackmailing crook.
And he was perfectly right. But I won't allow him to call you what he was about to call you just then. I'm selfish enough to wish to reserve that pleasure for myself.
Are you all right, Max, darling? Don't be cross. I wasn't laughing at you. It was just that the whole situation was so funny.
Jenny, in spite of all you've done, I've never hated you till now. Look what you've done to my new tie.
Well, now perhaps you'll be good enough to tell me why you've been turning my sitting room into a four-ale bar.
It was all my fault, I'm afraid.
I'm quite sure it was, Miss Wren.
And I'm very sorry, and I apologize. Oh, please don't be angry.
Oh, I make far more noise than that when I'm angry. Max, if you're going to continue such disgusting drinking behavior, we shall have to put sawdust on the floor. I'm not sure it would mean improvement anyway. Remind me to tell Watkin. Susan, my pretty, how are you?
It's hard to say. I don't think I really know.
Well, you look adorable. Give me a kiss.
Lord Hewlin, I hope you didn't mind my coming round without telephoning first.
Not at all, not at all.
But I was passing, and I wanted to see you rather particularly.
Well, of course, of course. And now you know your way here, as they say. If you're ever at a loose end on a Sunday, do drop in. I'm always here. I never go away. London's so pleasant at weekends, quite empty. You know, I can't think why pedestrians don't live in the country and weekend in the cities. The road casualties have dropped 60%. Then I suppose the motorist would grumble and say it wasn't sporting.
Oh, dear, I'm so sorry.
So you should be, but what about in particular?
I've made you nervous again. You're talking too much.
Papa, Jenny said she came round because she wanted to see you particularly.
Why, yes, of course. How silly of me. I'm so sorry. Tell me, what was it you wanted to see me about, Jenny? I beg your pardon. Miss Wren, I should say.
Oh, that's all right. You may call me Jenny if you like. All my friends do.
Then I think I'll continue to call you Miss Wren.
Oh. You said he'd be rude, Max. You were right. Perhaps I'd better go.
No, please.
Darling, Max and I have been simply bursting to know why Jenny came round, and she simply wouldn't tell us until you arrived. Now, will you ask her, please? Nicely.
But of course. Please, will you tell us why you came round and what you wanted to see me about? Or would you like to see me in private?
No, I want them to hear it too. Max, your father and I have had a bet.
What about?
The outcome of this case. Who'd win? He had what he considered right on his side. I thought it was on mine. He was quite sure he'd win. I was equally determined I would. In the process of making quite sure I should win, I have had to employ methods which I admit may have seemed a little unfair. That at the beginning was never my intention. But your father, so confident that his cunning would defeat me, rather forced my hand. Well, now that I have won, I'd like to be quite fair again.
Are you sure you've won?
Oh, quite sure. You're in a position now where you daren't go into court and can only accept the terms which I dictate.
Through your ingenious blackmail.
Oh, thank you. I particularly like the word ingenious.
More than cunning.
Much more than cunning. But I never meant to hurt either you, Max, or you, Susan.
In that case, why have you
And I'm not going to be vindictive and make you suffer because your father was rude to me just now. Besides, as I told you, I hope you'll be very happy. And I've no intention of spoiling your chance by smearing you all over the front pages and making you start your married life with a nasty scandal wrapped round you. No, no, no. I've always intended to win. I've always known that I should win, but not in a dirty way like that. And that being so, I've decided to accept your offer, Lord Hewlin.
You mean you'll settle out of court?
I never meant to do anything else.
Oh, thank God. Susan, darling, it's all right. Everything's all right.
Oh, Jenny, darling, how wonderful.
And to show you I'm neither greedy nor that other horrid word, Max, I accept your first offer, not your second.
What do you mean?
I mean I accept £1,000, not 2.
Why?
Because that's the amount I always had in mind. I only beat you up to 2 for fun.
Oh, I see.
And the bet, of course. What was the bet? A bottle of brandy to a bottle of scent.
Jenny, I suppose I must say thank you.
You needn't if you don't want to.
I don't. I mean, I do want to. And this is a little harder to say.
What?
Well, I suppose I've got to congratulate you, too.
You're a little previous, Max.
How do you mean?
Because she hasn't won.
Of course she's won.
No, not yet.
What?
Well, why hasn't she won?
Because my offer is no longer open.
Oh, my God, have you gone out of your mind?
Not out of it, changed it.
Of course, that makes a difference.
Well, really and truly, Max, say something, do something.
Of course it's still open, Jenny.
It is not still open, Max.
Supposing I say that it is?
I shall repeat that it is not. Now, please don't cry, Susan, darling, and don't worry. And if Max is going to behave like this, I think you'd better take him out to lunch. And see he doesn't shout with his mouth full.
If that's how you wish it, Lord Hewlin, I shall tell the press on Monday morning that I've been engaged to Max since last August the 22nd.
Quite.
And that we hope to get married quite soon.
Right.
I'll give you one more chance.
No.
And you realize what it means.
Oh, yes, certainly.
I'm sorry, Susan. I did my best. Max, it looks as though I'm forced to crack that very old joke. I'll be suing you.
Now then, are you two going out to lunch? Because if you don't think I'm rude, Susan, I'm going to be rather busy.
I don't think you're rude, Lord Hewlin. I think you're crackers.
Papa, do listen to reason.
By that, I suppose you mean listen to you. Very well, but at the moment you don't appear to be reasonable. You're highly excited and rather angry.
Well, I think I'm entitled to be angry. Jenny makes a jolly generous offer which would settle the whole thing without publicity or scandal, and you kick it straight back in her teeth. Susan and I have been on tenterhooks for weeks, and now we've got the chance to fix everything. You go and ruin it.
No, I haven't. And I promise you I won't.
Well, how can you say that? Of course you have. Can't you see how desperately important it is? It's my life, my whole future happiness, and you're tossing it about as though it were a pancake. Don't you care what happens?
Yes, of course he cares.
Thank you, Susan.
Well, it doesn't look like it to me. Good heavens, you'd have accepted this offer 3 weeks ago. Why turn it down now?
I've told you I've changed my mind.
Why?
Now, you mustn't think your happiness isn't more important to me than everything else in the world. When you first told me all about it, I promised you I'd get you out of it. You mustn't think I'm going to break that promise.
Well, then, get hold of her and say, thank you very much, we accept.
I'll get in touch with her, I promise you that. Now, give Susan some lunch and come back here afterwards. I'll have some news for you then. Susan, darling, please don't worry and do trust me.
I do. But I can't think why. Come on, Max.
Oh, all right. But if I don't come back, you can take it we've eloped.
Well, that'd be clumsy and inconvenient, and you wouldn't get any wedding presents.
I don't want wedding presents. I want a wife.
Hello, good morning. This is Lord Hewlin speaking. Hewlin. Hewlyn. No, Lynn. L for leather, Y for mother, N for lope. What? Oh, sorry, you don't know that one. L-Y... Hewlin, that's it. Well done. I want to speak to your editor, please. Which one? Well, how many have you? Oh, well, put me through to the biggest you've got. I think you'll find he'll want to talk to me. Thank you so much. And call me up sometime. I'll teach you the rest of the alphabet. It's rather fun. Hello? Yes, this is Lord Hewlin speaking. Good morning. I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Oh, that's splendid. Now, you've been telephoning me up quite a bit lately. Yes, quite. Well, now, I thought you'd like to know that my son is going to marry Lady Susan Creel. What? No, I haven't told anyone else. Not yet. Not even them. Yes, I thought you would. Now, tell me, will that be in your evening editions? It will, good. What time will they go out? About 4 o'clock? Splendid. One other thing. Will it be fairly prominently featured? I'm anxious no one should miss it. On the front page. That's splendid. Thank you very much. Now, wait a minute. Don't ring off. I've got something else that might possibly interest you. Well, as a matter of fact, it's my own engagement. To a Miss Jennifer Wren. Yes, it is. Quite a coincidence, isn't it?
"7 o'clock. Where is he? What's he doing? Vanished without trace since lunch."
Oh, please, darling, don't look so forlorn.
I'm not forlorn, Susan. I'm frightened.
Oh, dear. And this should be such a happy day. We're officially engaged. It's all in the evening papers.
I can't help that. I'm terrified. I really think Papa must have gone off his head. It's the only possible explanation. Do you know, I've always trusted him so completely all my life. He's always been there to talk to about things and help and advise, and he's gradually made me think he's infallible. And now he does a thing like this.
Well, anyway, it's in the papers now that we're going to be married. Surely that's something. It's a step further, isn't it?
Oh, it's a step further, all right. We've stepped right up to our middles in what must be one of the filthiest puddles since Dr. Foster went to Gloucester.
I don't care. Nothing matters at all except that you love me and I adore you. I do, you know.
Darling, don't try and cheer me up. I'm beyond it. I keep visualizing headlines. Pretty journalist engaged to both father and son. Plaintiff claims huge damages. Peer pleads insanity.
Can't I have a headline, please? How about ex-Deb says love will find a way?
I think that's really our only hope.
What, love will find a way?
No, insanity. We must get him certified. Lord knows it shouldn't be difficult.
Oh, darling, we couldn't.
Well, I don't know. It might be better than...
Better than what?
Well, I mean, I suppose what he's done isn't criminal, is it?
I haven't a clue. I shouldn't think so. I'll ring up Daddy if you like. He'd know.
No, I don't think that's a very good idea.
Why not? He's awfully knowledgeable.
Just because he judges sheepdog trials doesn't make him a legal expert, does it?
I was only trying to help.
They're still outside, you know.
The photographers?
Yes. When Papa comes back, if he does, he'll walk straight into them.
I hope they took some good ones of us.
Oh, you know, it's when you say things like that I really know how much I love you.
Oh, my sweet. Why? Tell me.
Because if anybody else had said it, I'd want to hit them over the head with a bottle.
Don't be so beastly.
I'm not. I'm being affectionate.
Where on earth can he have got to?
Oh, God knows. Breaking into a bank, maybe. Or blowing up Parliament.
Perhaps he's fed up with people again and he's gone to the zoo.
Not a word. Nothing. No explanation, no reason, no excuses, nothing. I came rushing back after lunch and he'd disappeared, vanished. Just an envelope with threepence in it and a note saying, "Buy a paper at 4 o'clock and let me be the first to congratulate you. Love to you both, Papa."
You don't think we ought to ring the police?
Let sleeping dogs lie and wait till they ring us. I can remember saying to him how I wanted it all to be wonderful and perfect for you, and how I'd mucked it all up and made a mess of it. And he said, "Nonsense, old boy, don't worry. We'll sort it out." He's certainly been sorted out all right.
Any good trying to get him at his club again? He might have gone back there.
Oh, well, I'll try.
Wait a moment, I've got an idea.
What?
Supposing I go round to Jenny and try and talk to her.
Oh, no. What the hell about, anyway?
I could find out her reaction.
Oh, no one's in any doubt about that. Vengeance is mine. I will repay.
Oh, rubbish. She's not a bit like that.
Excuse me, my lord. I thought you'd like to see the other evening papers. They've all got the story now. Front page, all of them. I got 3 copies of each. Nice for you to keep, I thought.
Oh, how kind. Thank you, Watkin. That was nice of you.
Be interesting for you later on. For the family records, I thought.
Family records? It's a world record.
It reminds me of the time your father went off to Switzerland.
He was lucky.
Lot of fuss then, there was.
Oh, if that's the press... Oh, can you see from the window, Susan?
No, it's not. It's Jenny.
Jenny? Well, what can we do? We're trapped.
Perhaps you'd like to go to my little sitting room downstairs, and I'll show Miss Wren in here. I expect she's come to see his lordship anyway. Come on now, quick.
Thank you, Watkin. Come along, darling.
Well, I must collect my things.
Mustn't keep her waiting.
Coming, Max.
Oh, Miss Wren, I'm afraid his lordship isn't in.
That's all right. I can wait.
Yes, do come in and wait. You know the way, don't you? I'm sorry I wasn't quicker opening the door, miss. I had some milk boiling over.
Doesn't really matter.
Those photographers have been waiting there for a couple of hours, miss. What a life. Always hanging about where they're not wanted.
Well, it's their job, after all.
Worse than poachers, I reckon them. You can prosecute a poacher. You can't do a thing with these young devils. Do you want your picture in the paper, miss?
No, Watkin. I can't say I do.
Well, there you are. What's the difference between taking your photograph and taking your salmon? Both are your property. And to take them without permission must be stealing, and the law ought to be altered. Can I get you any refreshments, miss?
No, thank you, Watkin.
Well, I'm expecting his lordship very soon. You shouldn't have long to wait.
I'm not in any hurry.
I suppose it's the announcement of the double engagement that's caused all this hullabaloo and excitement outside?
Yes, I suppose so.
I'd like to offer you my congratulations, miss. But if you don't mind my saying, it's his lordship, I think, is the lucky one.
Thank you. That's very kind of you, but I don't think you quite understand the position. I dislike being made a fool of, and when I am, I don't expect to be congratulated about it. But you went to know, and it's not your fault.
Oh, I didn't mean to say anything to offend you. If there's anything you want, will you ring, miss? You wouldn't like a nice cup of tea, would you?
No, I don't think so, thank you.
Give me a hand with these parcels, will you, Watkin?
My lord, how did you manage to get into the house without those young, thieving, poaching devils flashing their lights in your face?
Well, I rather thought they might be here, Watkin. So I stopped my taxi round the corner, went in the side entrance of the pub, and climbed over the wall at the back. Very simple, except for these packages.
Well done. Well done, my lord.
Good evening.
Good evening to you. You don't appear surprised to see me.
Oh, you're wrong, I am. And not only surprised, but delighted. I've just been round to your flat to deliver these packages, but I could get no reply. Now I can give them to you here.
Well?
Well, what?
What have you got to say?
No, mine can wait. You're the angry one. You better start.
How dared you do it?
I suppose because I'm very brave.
Suppose I go straight to Fleet Street and tell them the whole story. What would you do then?
Go abroad, probably. So would you, I imagine. In an opposite direction, of course. But I don't think you will, somehow. Go to Fleet Street, I mean.
What makes you think that?
Well, you'd look such an awful fool, wouldn't you? I mean, it's quite bad enough being made to look a fool in front of Susan and Max and possibly Watkin. You don't want the whole country laughing at you, surely.
Why did you do it?
You know, now I come to think of it, I don't suppose I should go abroad. The father who sacrifices himself for his son is always a sympathetic character, isn't he? I'd probably come out of it rather a popular figure, don't you think?
Will you answer my question?
Why, yes, of course. What was it?
Why did you do it?
Announce we were to be married? Oh, for a number of reasons.
I think I'm entitled to hear one of them.
You shall hear all of them.
All you can possibly hope for is a short delay in the proceedings. You must have realized instead of bringing the breach of promise action against Max, I shall now bring it against you.
Precisely. That was my first reason.
Why?
Because I decided I'd prefer you to bring it against me. At my age, any sensational publicity could only be beneficial. For Max, it would be harmful, and for Susan, hurtful. I wish to spare them that and make sure they'd be as happy as they deserve to be. Besides, aren't you forgetting?
I came here this morning wanting to be friendly and determined to be fair. You were rude and ill-mannered and refused my offer, which in the circumstances I think was a generous offer.
I agree entirely with all you say.
Well, if you thought it a generous offer, why did you refuse it? Oh, don't tell me, I'll tell you. Because you couldn't bear the thought of my beating you. It would have been such a blow to your unbearable self-esteem.
Ah, so you find my self-esteem unbearable. Now, I find your complete control of every situation, your usual complete control, I should say, not only unendurable and intolerable, but most unfeminine. I also decided I would no longer suffer the humiliation of being dictated to by you, and it was high time you were taught a lesson.
How dare you say it's high time I was taught a lesson? How dare you? Who the hell do you think you are? Pontificating over people's behavior and expressing your damned opinions and judgments right, left, and center as if you're Solomon in all his glory. And if you think I'm unfeminine, it's because I've had to lead a man's life.
Then you shouldn't be allowed to wear pretty hats.
Oh.
I can remember you telling me once you thought you'd be good at marriage. Not if you were militant and dictatorial and always on the winning side, you wouldn't be. Believe me, no husband's going to put up with an everlasting succession of crushing matrimonial defeats without ending up a wife-beater. That's the lesson you should learn, and I repeat, it's high time you did.
Yes, teacher. If you'd taken my offer this morning, there'd have been no scandal or publicity, and Max and Susan wouldn't have suffered in any way. And you'd have got off cheap at £1,000. As it is, I'll squeeze every single penny I can get out of you. There'll be no question of settling out of court this time. This time I'm angry, and I'll put you right through the hoop, and I'll make jolly sure there'll be a lot of people to watch you jump.
Really?
You think I won't? Well, Lord Hewlin, you'd better think again.
I don't really see how you can.
And why not?
Because before you can bring a breach of promise action against me, I must refuse to marry you.
Well, you will refuse, so what?
Oh, but I shan't.
What do you mean?
What I say, I shall not refuse.
But you must!
Why?
Because it wouldn't be fair if you didn't. I'm stammering because I'm angry, not because I'm nervous.
Who's talking about being fair, anyway?
But you're supposed to be a gentleman.
Who wants to marry you?
How dare you say that?
Ow! Oh, my foot. Because it's perfectly true.
Are you
proposing to you? Yes.
No. Are you prepared to ruin my whole life for the sake of a miserable £1,000?
I don't think I should ruin your life. Oh, the pain. I'll never be able to use this foot again.
I'm going straight to Fleet Street, and I'll tell the whole story.
Oh, my God, it hurts. But never mind. It's simply splendid. It's the most feminine thing you've ever done.
I hope I've broken a bone.
I'm sure you have, and I'm enchanted.
Well, phone for a cab for me and an ambulance for yourself.
Now, wait a minute, please. I think you might at least consider my proposal of marriage.
If you mention it once again, I'll stamp on your other foot.
Well, that's a risk I'm prepared to take. I remember your saying to me when we first met that all you wanted out of marriage was a background and security and someone to look after you and take care of you so you wouldn't have to struggle anymore or ever again be lonely. Well, I think I could do all that reasonably well. If you'd been a romantic in search only of love, then, of course, the idea would never have entered my head. But as you're a business-like person wanting a practical marriage, I thought perhaps I might prove suitable. Now, as you already know, I haven't got very much money. However, I induced the trustees of the estate, by which I mean Max, to allow me a slightly more adequate income. Surely never before in this preposterous century has a father had to entreat his son to increase his allowance so he can afford to get married. I've also decided to send the 5th Earl to the United States.
What on earth are you talking about?
He was rather a hopeless sort of chap who fell at the Battle of Worcester. Well, slipped really, not fell. Being frightened, he fled the field and sought safety in the belfry of a church. Being also drunk, he slipped while mounting the stairs and broke his neck. Fortunately, before that shameful and ludicrous calamity, he'd been painted by Van Dyck. He'd leave a nasty patch on the library wall, but should fetch a sufficient number of dollars to provide you with a small income were I to make you a widow. Surely a possibility which adds attraction to the thought of marrying me. I must say, you'd make the most adorable dowager.
I think you've made a fool of me enough now. And I'd like to leave.
Oh, can't you see that I'm the one who's making a fool of himself? Hoping someone as young and lovely as you would marry anyone as middle-aged and tiresome as I am? You've been very polite not to tell me so. Or do actions speak louder than words? You've no idea how difficult it is to buy roses and a bottle of scent on a Saturday afternoon. I also had to break into a bank.
Pity you weren't arrested.
No. My cousin's the chairman. But it involved an awful lot of telephoning to guards and watchmen and people. And the telephone booths in my club smell quite dreadful. It's the older member, so one can't very well complain.
I don't understand. If you bought me a bottle of scent, that means you think I've won. I thought you'd won.
But we don't know yet. I mean, the game's not over. If you marry me, then, of course, I've won. If you won't marry me, then you've won. I had to prepare for either eventuality. Now, these are what I had to break open the bank for. They're nice, I think. This would be your engagement ring. It belonged to my mother. We'd have it reset, of course. What do you think? And this bracelet goes quite well with it. I'm afraid they want cleaning rather badly. On the other hand, if you will refuse to marry me, when you open this trunk full of roses, you'll find a cheque amongst them for £1,000. Then all you'll have to do is to put the roses in water, the cheque in your bank, wait 3 months and say the marriage between yourself and the Earl of Hewlin will not now take place, and please to put a penny in the old man's hat. I don't think you can say that's trying to make a fool of you.
No. Well, that seems to be that then. And I'll take the roses and say goodbye.
There's one other thing I have to tell you, which I've left to the last because perhaps it's only important to me.
What's that?
When I first saw you, I thought you were lovely to look at. When you first began to talk to me, I thought your voice was sweet to listen to. And everything you've ever said has made me fall in love with you. Well, now I will get you a taxi.
Is what you say true? Or just more of your Welsh cunning?
Of course it's true, every word of it. And I don't know how I'm going to live without you.
Then I don't want a taxi.
Why not?
Do you know something?
Very little.
The time has come when I've got to be honest with you.
Well, it won't make any difference. I shall still love you.
I told you I don't want a taxi. Or put that telephone down.
I will if you'll marry me. No. I was talking to somebody else. Jenny, you nodded your head. Well, look, I'm sorry. I'm not absolutely certain I want one after all. Yes, I'm very sorry, but I don't know what's going on either. I think it's high time I did. Well?
I said I'd be honest, so now I suppose I've got to be. After we'd lunched that day, I was on my way round to my lawyer to tell him I decided to drop the whole thing.
What changed your mind?
You did.
How?
I suddenly realized if I did drop it, I'd probably never see you again. And that would have been that. So I had to go on with it because it was so important I did see you again.
Why?
I liked you so much. And now, as well as liking you, I love you. And I want to be your wife more than anything in the world.
Oh, Jenny, I shall try so hard to make you happy. I'll take such care of you.
All you have to do is to love me.
Pa, are you up there?
You know, I've never been fortunate in romantic moments. The telephone rings, or midges bite me, a gondolier spits in the Grand Canal, and now, by God, my son comes barging in.
Let's hide.
No, the whole thing would end in tears and bread and milk. Anyway, it's too late.
Are we interrupting?
Yes.
Would you like us to go?
Yes. Where have you been?
Downstairs with Watkin. We've been hiding, but we simply couldn't stand it another minute.
Why were you hiding? Were you frightened?
Well, of course. When we heard Jenny arrive, we fled. Well, damn it, Jenny, we didn't know what the hell was going on. We've been trying to get hold of Papa all the afternoon. We couldn't get him at the club, and when we telephoned here, all we got was the engaged signal.
Well, there you are. What more do you want?
Jenny, I simply don't know what to say. I think Papa's gone off his head.
What are you going to do, Jenny? Sue both of them? Are you the sort of people who refuse to believe all you read in the papers? Because if so, you make a great mistake. What do you mean? I personally have always trusted the press. And they say I'm going to marry someone called the Earl of Hewlin.
You're contradicted. Then what happened?
Oh, no jolly fear. I'm far too good a newspaper woman to kill a story as big as that.
But I don't understand. Susan, do you think they've both gone off their heads?
Don't be so dumb, my love. Can't you see what's happened? Oh, it's wonderful. Jenny, darling, congratulations. Thank you, Susie.
Max, I told you I'd get you out of it. I thought, all things considered, this was the simplest way.
Do you mean the story in the paper is true?
Well, it wasn't, but it is now.
Well, I mean...
Go on, say something.
But it's... Jenny, you'll be my stepmother.
Not that, you ass. Congratulate them.
Oh, yes, of course. Jenny, darling, congratulations. I think it's marvellous.
That's what I think, too. Congratulations.
Thank you, my pretty. The same to you.
You are clever, aren't you?
Not clever. Very, very lucky.
Papa, congratulations. Why have you got your shoe off?
We've been playing Hunt the Slipper. Come on now, we've got to celebrate. Max, you ring up for a taxi. No, you better not. The fellow's angry already. You and Susan go and get one. And tell those people if they want a picture, we'll be down in 2 minutes. Then we'll have the most magnificent party that ever went on Jenny's expense account.
Only on one condition.
What?
That Watkin comes too.
Right.
I'll tell him to put his slippers on. He can't dance in those boots. Come on, Susan.
All right, then. 2 minutes and no more.
Jenny, my darling. Say I'm weary, say I'm sad.
You're not sad. I'm here to make you happy.
Say that health and wealth have missed
Not
me.
health, and who cares about wealth?
Say I'm growing old, but
You're not old, my darling.
That Jenny kissed me.
But I never have.
Then come here.
In Plaintiff in a Pretty Hat, by Hugh and Margaret Williams, adapted for radio by Peggy Wells, the part of the Earl of Hewlin was played by Hugh Williams. Jenny Wren by Juno Tobin, Watkin by Einan Evans, Lord Plinlimmon, Michael Spice, Lady Susan Creel, Penelope Lee. The play, which was recorded, was produced by Norman Wright.